Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are back. We're doing another DRS run, and I am doing it as White Mage with Wisdom of the Profane. So this should be some fun stuff. Sorry about the having to do a second stream. Not sure what happened, but OBS just decided to lock up on me or something. I don't know. But go ahead and announce it because we do have the game audio going, and I'm going to be in voice chat with people in this run. So, Ben over there.
3:30, so the password is live on Discord. If we hit 48 out of 48, we will start early. We'll get started and sorted early.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
Luna, your adventurer plate is so very tame.
I don't even remember what it is. What is it?
It's just your white mage standing, arms kind of down, holding the staff, eyes closed.
Yeah, the C pose of a white mage. Why, thanks, I guess.
With your personality, I expected it to be like a meme kind of adventurer plate.
Touche.
Then you've got me just mad that there's not a it's not possible to adventure plate pose you with your rod and a cast animation for fishing.
Just waiting on one more slot.
And it's specifically a Cure 4 caster in my party.
All right, we are full. All right, everyone. Let's get started. Let's start off with assigning some critical roles here. I'm gonna lead slimes. Can I get a volunteer for a golem lead? Is there anyone other than Luna that would like to practice?
I was about to say, somebody
golem?
else, please.
I don't want to continue to put golem lead on Luna, So I'll give it one more pass. Anyone who wants to volunteer to do golems, uh, just shout it out or put it in alliance chat or let me know in voice. Otherwise, I'm going to volunteer someone to do it.
I was also going to say I'm going to be taking a break from DRS for a week, so don't feel bad if you need to.
Am I getting through right here? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I can do it. But at least I was asking if I can play a melee and swap with
All
somebody.
right.
And I guess one of the other alliances doesn't have caster.
True. So I do
um,
see that Bravo Alliance does have 2 casters.
Yeah,
So
and I
if you
can't
could,
lead golems, obviously. So
no worries. Zanase,
Yep.
volunteered for Golem lead.
Hey, I've done it enough. I mean, I was part of Luna's very scuffed 3 tanks, but it kind of worked.
Yeah, so it looks like Kessie and Bug are going to be the 2 casters in Bravo Alliance. If it's all right with either one of you, I'm not going to force you to give up caster if you don't want to. But if you'd like to, who was it that wanted to swap?
I wanted to. This is Chris. I wanted to swap. I joined as a summoner, but in D alliance, but I wanted to play melee.
I see.
So yeah, if I can swap with one of the 2 in D, that'd be great. Or in B.
Yeah. What I would say is probably just message them or ask them in alliance chat, and if either of them want to
Red
swap.
Mage, the Red Mage on B is saying that they'll swap to D.
Okay, cool. I'll put the party finder back up as soon as you guys drop then. And then we can do our swap here.
All right, I have dropped.
There you go. See, and then Chris should be back.
Working on it.
Yeah.
There we go.
And real quick, while I'm starting to get team lead set up, can I have everyone, if you are in the Discord call, assign or change your server profile name to reflect the tag, that'll show which alliance, which class you're playing, and which prog point you are, followed by your in-game username, please. So go ahead and update your Discord profile for that now. If you aren't clear on what the tag, on how to like make the tag, you can look at the requirements to participate channel, and that'll actually outline how to make your tag. Okay. So I'm still seeing I want off this wild ride. You need to change your tag in Discord. I think Ozic said they weren't coming, so I think they're just spectating. Hold on. Looks like we're missing. is I want off this wild ride there. Can they hear me? Oh, there we go. Cool. So now we have everyone in voice. Awesome. We'll take volunteers for team leads again today. So if you'd like to volunteer for team lead, just go ahead and alliance chat, specify which alliance you'd like to be team lead for. Stone Delta. Doot for Charlie. Chris Bravo Lee. No volunteers from Foxtrot or Alpha? Red Dahlia. Okay. Next, we're going to start assigning critical roles. I believe. So we had 2 players who wanted to prog the duel today that are both new.
Would be me, and I don't know who else.
Could you just confirm? So Chris Weaver, and then who was the other? Just confirm in Edegard. Okay. Usually the way I've seen this done and how we'll do it today is you'll just do the is it /dice if it's in alliance chat, or is it /roll? Okay, it's /dice. We'll do whoever gets the lowest number will be duelist. All right, Edegard, you're going to be the duelist today.
Okay. Oh, and also, I was recommended by Luna to bring Rampage if I was to be selected to be the duelist. Does that work, or?
For
Rampage for the
QG.
duelist?
Yeah, for QG, 2 targets, it's a 20 potency gain.
Oh,
on
if you want,
class.
I mean, if you want to take it for Queensguard, and if you want to do
Yeah.
it for damage padding, then yeah, you can, as long as you have your baseline holster to fulfill your class role, as outlined in requirements to participate, then yeah, you can take anything extra in those other slots that you don't have used up.
Okay.
Just to put it into perspective, Boss Rampage is literally doubles your damage on Queensguard for your class.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's why I recommended it.
Cool. Can I get 2 volunteers for Lost Rend Armor, please? Cool. And then Keen Key. Rend 2. Can I get volunteers for Perception After Phantom and Perception After Trinity Avowed? Okay, that's after Phantom. And then TA is Maya. Anyone? I need a volunteer for Lost Banish. And then just taking a look at the party list, Stardust Void is in the Flare Mage slot. Are you going to be our Flare Mage Stardust? Just to confirm. All right. Is there anyone volunteer for Banish? I'll give it a little bit of a wait, and if we don't get one, then we can just go in without Banish.
I got it
Okay.
for real this time.
Okay. Lost Banish.
Big if true.
Right. I've been messing around with my call list, so you should be hearing a check on that
Yes.
soon.
That's perfectly
And
okay.
if it doesn't happen, let me know after the run. Don't let me know during. Right.
Yep.
I need to take that loss to
Yeah.
make sure I keep feeling it.
Yep.
All right. So just to confirm, we have Zanase as Golem lead today. Alpha team lead will be Red. Bravo would be Chris. Charlie is Doot. Delta is Greater. Echo, Zanase, Foxtrot, Helois. Duelist is Edelgard today. We have Huge Mongus on Rend 1 and then Keen Key on Rend 2. You two can communicate between yourselves if you'd like to organize who's going to be first or second Rend. We have Perception after Phantom is Keiki, and then Perception after TA is Maya. Banish is Knackle, and then our Flare Mage is going to be Stardust. I'm going to post that in Rate Text Chat. All right. Now I'm going to have everyone get their pre-pop holsters and their loadouts all sorted. I'm going to give us a ready check in about... Since we started a little early, I'll say 5 minutes from now. So at 53 until 4, or 5 minutes from now, I'll do a ready check. I want to kind of want to speak up a little bit on something, and it's actually it's no one else's fault but mine. I have been slacking off in my duties as lead here, and I kind of want to just reiterate that I had to take myself back to the requirements to participate channel and reread it all myself and kind of refamiliarize my my understanding of what's in that channel. So going forward, I'm going to try my best to follow whatever is outlined in that channel. When I started doing my runs, I would pretty much point everyone to that channel to get started, and that was the channel that I got started with, and that's how I'm gonna continue to conduct my runs. So make sure that if you are in this run today, and since we got started a little early, that's all right. I just want people to spend a little extra time to read through that channel if they haven't done so thoroughly. It is actually part of the requirements to participate and has a lot of really good information. I kind of want to avoid being caught in instances where people don't have a lot of the fragments or the setups that I'm expecting, since I base all of my strategies and all of my setup around what is seen in that channel. I want to make sure that everyone has access to all of those fragments. So going forward, if we're in a situation where somebody isn't able to fill one of those roles, if asked or if needed, then I'm going to have to politely ask you to essentially procure the fragments, or we'll have to leave you behind. I know it sounds a little strict, but it is part of the requirements to participate, and to a degree, I need to honor that because it's the way I've always conducted myself, and it's the way I hope everyone in my runs would conduct themselves as well. Yes, usually I used to say 5 pures, but it is a much safer number to have 10, and it's how I always started and it's what I always followed. So if anyone needs to spend a little time to make sure that they can procure the fragments needed, or if they don't know where the fragments come from or which fragments produce what lost actions, we do have a channel preparing for the run that exists. And that channel will have all the information for later on if you want to go farm them yourselves, where they drop, and specifically which fragments are what produce what abilities. So I'll give us I'll send the ready check in about another 3 minutes here, and make sure that everyone is on board with those holsters.
Quick check. Which one is Indomitable from, so I can go ahead and actually get myself back up to 10.
Fortitude.
Thank
Fortitude.
you.
Yeah, I just checked and I'm at 5, so I need to go get some pures myself.
Yeah, I remember when I was thinking about getting back into this, I went and I just cluster farmed for like 4 hours straight. Just made sure I had like 30 of each.
Jesus, they spiked in price.
Everyone's starting to run DRS again. I don't
Hey,
know.
so
It
I
could-
actually have some here in Genova Gango, so if you need, like, if you absolutely need some, I can pass you some. I have a bunch.
I would take you up on that. I normally would just do it myself, but I've got three in the box and one on me.
And I have no money.
Yeah, I have pures for people who
This
need them.
This will be my 4th run this week.
If-
I'm actually out of money for any fucking lost actions.
Again, like if we need to spend a little extra time today, we did get started quite early. I don't mind spending like an extra 5 or 10 minutes to let people like bounce around and get frags. I know Genova historically has a higher prices than a lot of the other worlds, so if you want to jump to places like Cactar or Sargatanis, or I believe also Siren, has some nicer prices. Not not so pricey prices.
I don't know. Sarg Pure Fragment Market Board is looking a little sus.
Is it?
The Divinity is 12,000,
Ooh, okay.
and there's there's like only a few of them on the board.
Using third-party tools to check, it doesn't look like Fortitude are below 10k right now.
Yeah, Fortitude
Really?
looks like it's around cheapest on Cactar or Fairy, and they're about 10k.
Yeah. I would just suggest people do a little bit of frag
Yeah.
or cluster farming. That's pretty cheap.
It's honestly they're one frag now.
It's
one
one
cluster
frag.
now.
I
One
would go buy
fragment.
them.
That's
I'd
it.
go buy them myself, but I'd have to leave party.
Right.
I have
Well,
the clusters.
okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, I did say I was going to give us some time. So here, I'm going to make sure I change the password for this party finder. If people need to jump in real quick to grab some clusters to hit their necessary cache requirements, then I'll open it up. I just please ask you to remember which alliance you were part of and what your class was. That way we don't have to do any juggling when we get back in. The class that you joined in on is the class I want you to come back as, essentially, if you decide to leave into Zadnor or Southern Front to go get clusters.
All right, I gotta do that. I'm sorry.
No worries.
If anything makes me feel less bad about that. Knackle
And then
himself
we're-
doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm I make
No.
mistakes too. Here, I'm gonna go buy some divinity right now. I've got 53 clusters. I'll spend them all on divinity because I don't really care. And I'm gonna appraise until I'm above 10.
I wish I could give you all of my peers. I'm sitting at almost 200 divinities.
I
I wish they were
definitely need to
tradable.
build up more of a surplus, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I do hate that after appraisal you can't trade them because there's so many actions I just throw at friends I'm getting into the start of Bosja right now that I will never use, but would help them.
What's the password, Bash?
5665.
Okay. Knuckles' luck strikes again. You know how many fragments I had to appraise to get 5 pures?
5.
17. That's pretty darn good. Like the first 3 that I appraised were actually pure essence.
All right. I'm going to send out the first ready check. If people are still gathering frags and you're still sorting out what you need for requirement, then that's all right. Let me know by hitting no. I want to make sure everyone actually has all the frags they need for filling out their roles. Now, just to double check, because I've noticed that most alliances have the 2 tanks and 2 healers. I noticed that Charlie needs a pseudo healer and Bravo needs a pseudo tank. Has that been sorted out already? Bravo and Charlie. Okay, cool. And another thing I want to check in on is with the requirements to participate channel. What I want to clarify when I said that this is what I follow and this is what I expect. Once we get to encounters, for example, that require abilities like Reflect or Dispel, abilities like Aether Shield or Stone Skin, if you are a particular uh, pseudo healer or pseudo tank role. If you decide that you're going to join my run, and let's say you're going to be a healer, I expect that you have at least all of the core lost actions that you're seeing in that list. That's what I'm going to be when I do my strategies, like I was mentioning earlier. I'm going off the basis that every healer in my run has that in their kit, has that in their holster. It just makes it so that when we get set up and we start assigning roles, and it's all right if it's your first time and you've never done something. I would much rather recommend somebody brand new do a mechanic or do a role and mess it up and screw it up than have somebody who's done it 100,000 times get in there and just keep doing it. You know, I'm very much of the mindset that I want new people to not only interact with this raid, but to also kind of interact with all the other peripherals for what, you know, the raid offers. It's not every day that you get to do a raid in this game that actually has, you know, actions that you can slot in and allows you to change, you know, the role and the duty that you fulfill in your party. You know, it's not every day that you can go into a raid and have a healer act as like a tank, as an example, or a DPS act as a tank for that matter. You know. Okay. (4:02) Pacific time. I'm gonna throw out another ready check and just kind of check the pulse, see how everyone's doing, make sure everyone's coming along all right. Oh man, that's the name of a quest. Get out of my head, get out of my head, get up. Man, it's crazy like how long it took for Among Us to really get picked up by everyone's radar.
Sounds pretty sus to me.
Among Us was a game forever, and
Yeah,
the-
it was what, like a decade almost.
and the thing that's even crazier is Among Us is literally just a video gamified version of Werewolf, and by God, my parents played that at summer camp.
Yeah. There was a camp function that I did in elementary school. They have that like sign the waiver, go to camp for like 3-day thing, and we did that there. All right. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna do another ready check just to make sure everyone is getting their holsters all set up. Make sure we're ready.
I just realized I almost forgot to do something important during this run. Set up Discord on my phone so I can see the in-progress art a friend is drawing.
So we're just waiting on a couple then. In a few more minutes, I'll do the hard check, and it will be the entrance to the instance. Yeah, no worries. I'll give you a heads up. I'm gonna do it in the next 2 minutes here. 06. Is that supposed to be a reference to one of the first ciphers? One of those. I remember hearing that artichoke was like a keyword for one of the ciphers that I was first learning about in like world history.
I mean, actually,
Way back when.
It's a reference to I think a 60s era cartoon.
Really?
It's a completely stupid. Hang on, let me look up what year this was from. Yeah, it's a reference to something my dad watched and shared with me when I was a kid, called Tom Slick. Originally aired in '67. Wow, it only got one season.
That's
Television was
crazy.
probably a
Tom
very
Slick
different
was my
beast back
nickname in
then.
high school.
I mean, it literally was just a moment of an interview of, do you have a word for the audience? Yes, the word is artichoke. It was really stupid, but I always loved that gag.
All right, everyone. I'm about to put up the hard check here. Make sure you're tabbed in, ready to go. We're gonna wait to see that fish icon go away. There we go.
Cool. Every single one of my fortitudes gave me Aether Shield. And now I have no money and no bitches.
I have the actions for you, or the fragments for you if you desire.
I've
All
got
right,
I've
everyone.
got enough. I'm just not quite at 10.
Welcome to Delebrum Reginae Savage. If it's your first time, welcome in. Make sure that the first thing I'm going to mention is don't take the jump pads, the glowing jump pads at the bottom of the staircase. We want to make sure that everyone gets their pre-pop done now. If you didn't get your pre-pop sorted outside the instance, do your pre-pop here at the cache, and then make sure you fill your holster for the rest of the run. If you are not sure what to take in your holster, double check the requirements to participate channel. That will show you what you should be taking in your holster. Be very certain that you are taking everything that you need and you have all of those specified outline actions for the rest of the run. Because once we take these jump pads, there's no way we can come back. Return and lodestones do not work in this instance. Healers, also make sure that you have your discussion about who's going to take Spellforge and Steel Sting. If you've already done so, cool. Just make sure you double check with your partner to make absolutely certain that you have what you need for the run. We don't need both healers taking the same buff. Another thing I'd like to point out for tanks, Lost Sacrifice, very good ability. I'm just going to continue to go over what it does at the beginning of my runs. It's a good. I feel like it's good information, and it's something that a lot of people don't really hear too often. If you are a tank and you are taking your proper pure essence, which is the pure essence of the Indomitable, Lost Sacrifice has a hidden interaction with that essence that allows you to have a 50-50 chance of ignoring the Doom debuff that usually would fall on you for using Lost Sacrifice. We put this on tanks not only for that, we essentially put this on tanks because it is a very valuable opportunity to completely ignore death, or Doom, I should say, and be able to get someone up max HP almost essentially for free. Reasons we have this in our kit and like the situations you should use this in are if you have an LB3 coming up and both your healers are down, and your healer could potentially use LB3 to get the rest of your party up. That is a great opportunity to use a Lost Sack in the middle of combat. Make sure that you coordinate with your other tanks so you don't pop both. So both of you don't pop it and end up possibly overwriting a damage action you could be using, or more importantly, accidentally overwriting an Aether Shield for something like that. So just make sure, if that is a situation that's going on in your party, try to discuss it in your party chat. If you need to, if it would be much easier to say it out loud in voice, I am totally okay with you speaking out in voice, saying I'm going to sack for, Charlie Healer as an example, right? But just make it clear, make it very concise, and try not to say like me or I. Try to state your username so that we at least know who's doing what and which healer is getting picked up. Just try to make sure the information is as clear as you can make it. Other situations that may occur is if we're at the end of a run, if somebody had the misfortune of dropping near the beginning of a fight and the re-raiser did not proc, there is a very real possibility that their re-raise timer or their resurrection timer is gotten pretty low, and they are in danger of rotting out of the instance. Once that timer runs out, and they get kicked forcibly from the instance, that's what we call rotting out. So if we ever get into a situation, for example, it tends to happen a lot around Trinity Avowed or Minotaurs, and it could happen earlier. If we have somebody that's been on the ground for a little too long, make sure that we are prioritizing them, and Lost Sacrifice is like a last-ditch effort to make sure we get them up on time. Make sure, just double check now before I forget, that you have everything in your holster, that you filled it up. Make sure it's like 99 out of 99, or if you don't have a full holster, like 80 out of 80. Try to make sure you have every slot filled. If you are kind of wondering what to take to fill those slots, a couple light curtains will do you good for Queen. If you're playing a caster, Font of Power, stuff that requires a lot of mana consumption, some ether pots, some resistance ether kits might help out, potion kits, or even more re-raisers. I would probably go with the extra re-raisers first if it's your first time, or if you're still brand new to this, or still learning some of the fights. Just double checking my holster here. Cool. And I'm just gonna quickly double check some of the critical roles here. Edogard, you're going to be our duelist. Make sure that you have, an extra Percept and Dispel in your kit if you're going to be dueling, since those are going to be absolutely necessary for you in your duel. So make sure that you have at least have that planned out and you know what you're going to be doing for your yes. Make sure
no.
Not an extra Dispel. Not an
Just
extra
one,
Dispel.
the one you have slotted.
Just make sure that you have Dispel in your kit for that fight. Just make sure that if Vigor shows up on the cast, that you can dispel the resulting damage buff that the Minotaur gets. That's all I'm making sure that you've got. Right? And then your Percept to make sure you don't get blown up the second you step off the pad. Huge Mungus and Kinky, you're both taking Lost Rent armor, just confirming that both of you have actually slotted Lost Rent armor or have extras in your holster. Confirmation from Kinky. And if I can just get there you go. Good to go on Ren. Awesome. Perception on Keiki and perception on Maya. Do we have both of those percepts? Cool. Knackle, do you have Lost Banish in your holster? Banish in holster. Awesome. And then Stardust confirming that you have Flare Star with. Awesome. All right. We still have some people standing up by the cache. I'm going to move away show readiness. Once you have filled out your holster and you have everything you need for the run, meet up back with your parties. Once no one is at the cache, we'll do ready checks and then we'll get started here. Cache is clear. All alliances, do your ready checks, announce when ready, and yell chat. Cool. We have Charlie, Alpha, Bravo, Delta Echo, waiting on Foxtrot. Foxtrot ready. All right. Delta Echo Foxtrot teams will be taking the left jump pad. Alpha Bravo Charlie teams will be taking the left jump pad. You can jump when ready. Golems, your leader will be Zanase today. Jump down one voice channel and Zanase will lead you through the Golems encounter.
Here's hoping.
Just making sure Delta Echo and Foxtrot are on the right jump pad. You said the left jump pad earlier.
Did I say left? Oh my.
Yeah, most of them went right. So
Okay. Boy, that's. Yes, no. Golem should be right jump pad. You should be lined up in front of your jump pad.
yeah.
Did we have any Golem players jump over to the left by accident?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Thanks for that catch. Boy, what is...
It's all right. Keep going.
That was
I'm
a funny
stressing
call.
out here. Woo! All right, it's all right.
Luna, if you want to take red, you are more than welcome to in my book. That one still scares me. You don't mind going ahead and standing on it? All right. Looks like we got welcome to Golems. It's an easy encounter that has some ways it can go wrong. So, looks like we've already got everyone standing on or all of the tanks spots claimed. So I need a healer from each party to go stand with the tank, or in Luna's case, kinda tank. From the same party is not required, it's just a little easier. Luna does not want a healer. All right. No one with Luna then, because Luna's doing... now I gotta check. So, that's a very good point that I forgot to see in Shout. Is anyone doing the tanking colorblind? So, how this encounter works is each golem needs to be dragged to a pad, allowed to change colors till it matches the pad. Don't let it change after that point. And, well, just kill it on the pad. It must die on the pad of the same color. Now, we have to do a little bit of timing here. So, the way we do this is all these golems, you can see they're patterned in a similar pattern to the 4 rooms out of the hallway that we can see there. What we do is we pull each golem to the same space but one anti-clockwise. So you can see I am standing on the northwest golem right now. It will be pulled to the southwest room, if I'm correct. What? Oh. Never mind. Sorry. Saw something different. We also have potentially, I think it's 3 guaranteed traps. 1 in the hall and 2 in a random 2 in 2 random rooms.
There is 1 in blue room right now,
Wonderful.
but not in white room. So the other one is north.
All right. I'll clear out your red room.
No, but it should be percepted.
Oh. Okay,
Tools
never mind.
Percept it for me.
Sounds good. So the way we breach it is when this gets pulled, all of us will grab our golems and pull to our rooms. DPS will act as a big murder ball and rotate through, killing all of them except the red golem that Luna will be pulling. That golem will just be allowed to stay where it is until the other side calls a merge, at which point... Wait, do we normally do... Oh. Sorry, I'm reading the guide as I go along and trying to remember things I've heard previously. Things to note. These golems don't do a lot of damage, but it's an appreciable amount. So, thanks. So, that's why we have a healer on everyone except Luna, because the red golem will just one-shot you if it touches you. Hence, it needs to be kited instead of directly murdered or directly tanked. The blue golems do an attack that puts a bleed. So any healer on a blue golem, a starter blue, I should say, needs to be ready to Asuna their tank. Is there a healer on I like Julio, or I don't know how to pronounce your name. Yep, there you are. Sorry, not to sound cliche about Lalafels, I literally didn't see you inside the golem. So do be careful about that. It is very easy to accidentally just eat it. I've died that way.
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt you, Xana, but we need a south hallway tank. I'll take north.
All right. Unless Humongous wants to take it.
Yeah, I noticed he's Reaper, so I'm not sure how well that would work.
If we have one more free tank...
Oh, okay, then Issy, since they
All right.
have, like, stance.
Wonderful. But just to explain those roles, there are golems that spawn on those pads, not ones we need to put on the pads we're using. They need to be DPS'd and before they cause problems. And basically, once the murder ball finishes up, what's the normal order? Southwest to southeast to northeast?
Yes, sir.
So basically, the murder ball will start in the southwest room, murder the golem I'm holding on to. Then they'll run themselves over to southeast, murder that golem, which should be the Namazu, whose name I cannot pronounce.
Also, don't forget about its passive. At 30%, it'll cast Compaction, and then it will Benediction itself if it successfully finishes.
So basically, tanks have to interrupt the color change on cooldown after it changes to the correct color if it has to. So if you see that interrupt skill being cast on that one, you interrupt it.
For no reason are you to interrupt Red Golem, ever.
Yes.
He
Do
will
not
kill me.
interrupt red. So I don't think the green one has anything special about it, but I'm not recalling.
it likes to eat hallway golems. If it successfully eats one, it
Yeah.
gets 2,000% stats up or 1,000% stats up.
AKA, we probably wipe. All right.
No, probably. It's a hard wipe.
I mean, I've seen stupider challenge runs.
You're not killing it.
Anyway, after that, I don't think there's anything special. We kind of make sure we keep everything killed. The murder ball, after killing the 3 rooms, just stays in the hallway, murder balling the golems that will periodically spawn until the slime side calls merge. And then I assume you're using one of the invuln skills, Luna. Sweet. So Luna will basically invuln, stand on the pad, and we just murder the red golem and make sure to get everyone off the ground before continuing, and we jump back up to the voice chat. It's not a difficult one, just requires a little more coordination than the average thing.
Oh, I just have a quick question. Is someone percepting, or am I running through and involving?
Ridogard was percepting earlier and seems to be our perceptor, which is
Blue
very
room's
helpful.
going to be popping their own trap. There's not one in red. Hallway will be percepted. There's not one in white. Hallway will be percepted. Red will be percepted. So if you're green tank, you're popping your invuln at the door and running all the way against the wall to pop
Thank
your own
you.
trap.
I forgot that part. The trap
Same with blue room. Blue and green, you're going to pop your invuln at the door, pop sprint, run all the way against the wall, touch the wall with your tippy toes, then take your golem back to the pad.
Mm-hmm. And please remember, wiggle check. I think that's golem side ready, but we're obviously waiting on slime. Slime is a more involved, longer explanation. So, all right. Any questions? Please speak up now, because it's easier to fix it rather than trying to adjust on the fly. Also, the one thing I forgot to say, blue golems especially, make sure to, for the love of God, have cooldowns up when you right after you pull, because it does hurt. And I just realized the most important part I forgot to say. Don't run in front of the tanks, because there's some pulling stuff that has to happen to make sure we know where the traps are. The Perceptor's looking for that. Don't want to run over a trap and kill yourself and potentially others.
All right, so here's my battle plan. I'm kind of thinking this through because it's the first time I've ever done this on Dancer. I think I'm gonna play with my golem out here for a bit.
Sounds good. Don't
And
touch.
then once it turns red, I'll take it on an extended walk.
Sounds good. Don't touch Luna's golem, Murder Ball, until explicitly
Only if it's
instructed.
green, but it won't be green when it walks through. Yeah, red's passive is it does 300% damage, I believe, just flat out. But even if it does suck it, I can just not interrupt it and let it change to red, and then it does 1,300% damage or something insane. It's not going to kill me, just flat out. It can't. I have an invuln. Keep moving. Keep moving. Dance party in the middle. Come, join the dance party. Oh, I don't. What is that animation? Is that Reen Savage?
That's the one that came with the expensive statue.
Oh, Reen Savage?
No, I think it was just Shiva. It was like a $200 figurine.
Nobody gets the joke. I'm so sad.
Also, yes, tanks who are standing on a were standing on a golem before the dance party, please put on your stance.
But mommy, I don't wanna. Okay, I will.
The dancer tank stance.
I actually have it slotted. You can see what I have slotted by checking my Memoria buff. This is, assuming you can target me.
You're in my party, of course I can.
Yeah, you can see what I have slotted. Oh, it's Reminisce, not Memoria. Sorry. Like, I can tell you there's a healer with the spell currently slotted.
Oh, so the
Oh,
mana
so-
wall is like the tank thing?
It's a tank emblem.
Oh, wow, that's pretty dope.
You can do some really fun, dumb stuff with essences and actions in here.
It's a tank emblem, yes. On top of my 100 or my 25% from my tank stance, it's a true emblem, kind of like paladins. Yeah.
There's a lot of hilarious interactions. A buddy of mine's favorite thing to do was, all right. We are ready. So what is it? The door opens. The door needs to be opened 5 seconds before by the preceptor.
Ish.
Sounds
If you
good.
see the 5, you can assume that you can click it.
All right. Tanks to thy golem and pseudo tank. Pseudo tank.
Remember, there's no such thing as alliances in here. Everything is raid wide that you do, markers, etc.
All right. Remember, stay behind the crush of tanks. Let these crazy people go forward. And murder ball to the southwest room first. All right, Blue Golem's going to go down shortly. Blue Golem is correctly handled. Let this, yep, the Blue Golem just switched to white. Go ahead and murder ball to white Golem. Range, please have an interrupt ready for when it tries to bene itself.
It can't be interrupt. Use actions,
Oh.
kill it that way.
All right, kill this thing. Please avoid the hallway trap. We are deliberately not popping it. We go to green and murder green. All right, now we are going to ranged poke only the red golem. Don't go in, don't run too close, and we are stopping damage at 30%. Once that golem hits 30, go stand with one of the hallway tanks or pseudo tanks to kill the golems as they spawn. And then we just sit here killing golems until we get a we get a rupture call from the other side. Go to doing the golems in the hall. Just kill them. Nothing to it. It's also a good idea to go ahead and build any resource gauges you have here. Rupture. All right, pop. And we are all going to murder red. We murder the red one. When it's on the pad only. It's not on the pad. Do not murder it yet. Murder. And we are good. Are there any dead players? Please don't continue until we verify that there are no dead players.
That tickled.
Looks like everyone is alive that I can see. I'm not seeing anyone call any dead. So go ahead and move up to the next channel.
That tickled.
All right. Izumi has called that they have their Arise slotted already. Next time, let's try to slot Arise once we have confirmed that there is a body, and then make sure that you stand on top of the body first before you pop it. That way we save more actions that way.
You have another DC.
Yes. Mega Solomon.
Someone be out here DDoSing.
Maybe.
Are they both Bravo?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe they started DCing after the encounter cleared, correct?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
just kind of
So
standing
they should
here.
be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure
It's-
that the healers haven't taken the jump pad yet, because we may need them.
Yeah, it's bugged that bug definitely DC'd while we were still in combat, so they might come back dead.
Yeah.
My whole
And they
alarm
are.
computer turned off. I'm
There they are.
sorry.
They're right here at the entrance to the barracks.
Oh, I see. Yes, they
Whoever
are
has,
in fact zeroed out.
Yeah,
I
whoever
didn't
has
even
less
make it through the door.
Allow Izumi to do their charges first. They had it already slotted.
Yeah.
Make sure that you don't slot it until you get on top of their body, please.
Hey.
There we go. Cool.
One more.
We're waiting on Solomon to return to us.
Gotta love them DX11 errors.
Oh, you crashed out. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I can queue up a ritual prayer for their safe return. They really need to just bring that blitzball sign of good luck into the game, man. I would, if they made that a $12 emote, I'd still buy it.
All right, there he is.
Cool. Confirming that Bravo has all their players. Okay, cool. Make sure you grab these chests at the bottom of the staircase. These are personal rewards. No one else can grab them for you. Make sure you're grabbing them, otherwise you're going to be leaving loot behind. All right, before we go into explanations, I want to double check that all tanks have their stances off. We will assign a tank shortly. First things first, I'm going to go over some quick explanations for Trinity Seeker and how I handled this fight. I know a lot of other hosts tend to use markers for this fight or waypoints. I will only use the Danger Dorito as a marker for Ifrit dashes, and occasionally you can use it to double check for the correct position for the 4-sword adventure, the 4 slashes, the mercy slashes. For mercy slashes, it's going to be based off of boss relative callouts. So you're going to double check the direction the boss is facing, since the boss may not always be facing in a cardinal direction or facing towards a waypoint or anything set in stone. Therefore, if you hear a call that sounds something like right, right, left, left, that means we're going to be on the right side of the boss for 2 slashes, and then we're going to pass through to the left side for the remaining 2 slashes. If you see, or if you hear a separate pattern, there is one other pattern that could potentially happen, which is front, back, back, front, or left, right, right, left. It's not always going to be those specific patterns, but it will require, it will require us, ooh, I'm going, ooh. It will require us to move twice. So easy pattern is going to just be a one-step movement. We're going to move through once. If it's a slightly more difficult pattern, it's going to just be us moving through after the first slash and then returning to where we started for the next for 2. After 2 slashes, right? I think I just confused myself for a second. That's all right. That was correct. Right. There is a gaze mechanic in this encounter. It's going to be in the form of a glowing orb floating above the field. Just keep an eye out for it. When I say look away from the orb, you're going to locate the orb and then promptly point your character away from it. Make sure you do not hit. You aren't hit with a gaze. Do so after standing in a safe spot. After check your feet. Make sure you're not standing in anything nasty. Look away from the orb, and then very shortly after, the flower will also be on the field, and that will grow very shortly after the orb resolves its gaze mechanic. So it'll be orb, look away, flower, get away. Ifrit dashes exist in this fight. They're going to be very similar to the actual Ifrit trial. Clones will show up in succession on the side of the field, either showing up in an order clockwise or counterclockwise. We're just going to follow the clones in the order they appear to avoid their dashes. We'll do that at the edge of the field because we will also have a hide or knockback mechanic. If it's a knockback pattern, we're going to make sure our back is to a barricade, and the knockback originating from the center of the field is going to knock us cleanly into the barricade. If it is a hide pattern, we're going to break line of sight with Trinity Seeker, and we're going to hide behind a barricade, make sure the barricade is between us and Trinity Seeker. Earthshakers exist in this encounter as well. If you are one of those players that have been doing their Unreal fights, then you're probably very familiar with this mechanic, since it's almost exactly the same in appearance. The tether will just be yellow instead. You'll get that star above your head, you'll get that tether. Treat that as a line AoE, and you're pointing that line away from the party. The source is the center of the field, so just make sure you're very mindful that you're pointing that away from the party and anyone else. It is actually a cone, it's not a perfect line AoE, so don't stack up next to someone else. If 2 Earthshakers hit the same person, it's very likely you guys are going to hit the deck. So be very mindful of that. Right. Mercy Swords. So to go back to it, I might make a call that sounds like in, out, out. If I make a call like that, it is for a particular version of that mechanic or a clone. So it's not the boss that we're striking for HP damage. It's going to be a clone that will show up in one of the cardinal locations, essentially between the breaks and the barricades. We're going to look for that clone. There will be a knockback or hide pattern immediately before it. So we'll do our knockback or we'll do our hide, and then we will immediately go to doing our sword slashes around that clone. Now, the reason I bring up, I might say in, out, out, is because since the clone is located on the edge of the field, it might be easier for me to make that call. If in is called, what I'm specifically saying is make sure you're standing between the boss and the center of the field. If I say out, make sure that the boss is in between you and the center of the field. So if you're out, you're closer to the edge of the field than the boss is, or that the clone is. If you are in, you are closer to the center of the field than that clone is. That covers it. Everything else will be handled with callouts, so just make sure you have your ears open and ears open. Make sure you are attentive, that you are listening to what is happening. And you should be a-okay. If I say follow the danger Dorito, I usually mean the triangle. I like to call the triangle the danger Dorito. So if you hear that terminology, that's what I'm referring to. This is a legitimate fight. This is a boss with an enrage. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our lost actions. We're going to be using food, and we're going to be using pots. We're going to try to kill this boss as fast as we can. If we do get to a point where there are some people on the floor and we could potentially save on Lost Arise by waiting for healer LB3, we might stop DPS entirely just to let mechanics go so we can generate LB3 to res those players. With that being said, can I have someone stand on the Danger Dorito as a volunteer for main tank? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? All right. Desarius got to me first. Desarius is going to be our main tank, and that duty will be carried through the rest of the raid where applicable. That's the word. Pronunciation is hard sometimes. English is funny. Everyone else, if you are not Desarius, you should have your tank stance off, and it should remain off. The only times I will allow it is if Desarius calls that they are down. Then tanks can turn their stance on and provoke and generate aggro. Whoever has, threat after that will be the main tank until the end of the encounter. We're not going to fight for aggro after that point. So make sure you have food up. Make sure that you have pots at the ready, and make sure your lost actions are good to go. Once we start this fight, we're going to use them all, and we're just going to try and burst as hard as we can. If you are not familiar with how to rotate your lost actions for DPS, then just use them on cooldown. Anytime you see them ready to go, just hit it and send as much damage as you can. Ready check for this is just going to be standing in front of the purple line and doing some jumpies. We're just going to jump around. Just get some movement so I can see that everyone is here and active.
You saw that Pokeball, right?
I did not.
Yeah.
Did we
Looks
get
like
a DC?
someone. Yep.
Okay.
Got in Bravo. I just saw a Pokeball.
In Delta. DC and Delta. All right. Cool. I see that. Thank you for letting me know, Grader. Also a good time to kind of double check up on the team leads. Make sure that if anyone fell during your previous encounter, that they have re-raise up and that they put a new re-raiser on if they don't have one. Just kind of double check, make sure everyone is here and ready to go. Chris Turkleton, correct? Was that your DC? Have they returned?
As well.
I mean, I
there's
can't
another
see
one.
this. Yeah, we're all grouped up here. Oh, Izumi. Oh, they're moving around. All right. Has Delta's DC returned? Just to double check.
Looks like it. They said I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And Izumi's still here. We didn't have them DC out.
Well, they're Pokeballing now. What the fuck?
Ah! Cursed run! That's all right.
Sometimes
Tempter of
it'd be
fate.
like this. Yep. Yeah, if this is so like when I don't know. Well, for what it's worth, whenever this happens in one of my runs, we just kind of treat it as an environmental hazard.
Yeah.
Depending on because like if we just see like a bunch of DCs happening one after the other, then we just need to keep going and assume that as just the condition of the run today.
They haven't
Izumi is
completely
lagging a
DC'd
bit.
out. Yeah, it
They
looks
said.
like it's just lagged to me. So they haven't completely dropped out. We're gonna treat that as once everyone is in front of the purple line, we're just gonna treat it as everyone's ready, and we're gonna get started here. So waiting on one to cross the line, we'll get started. Cool. All right, Desarius, you can put 30 on the board for us, and we'll get started. This boss starts with a raid wide, so if you want to pre-shield and get ready for mitigation, feel free to do so. That is the very first thing it's going to do. It's just raid wide damage. All right, pop lost actions, pop pots. Do what you can. Hit this boss hard. This is that raid wide I was talking about. And our first mechanic that we're going to start with is going to be the four-sword adventure. It's going to be the Mercy Swords. Please pay very close attention to the way the boss is facing. My calls are going to be boss relative. All right, it's going to be a double movement. Right, left, left, right. Stand on the hitbox edge. Right, left, left, right. You're going to stay here for 1 slash, move through, wait for 2, go back through, move through, move through, move through. 1, 2, move through. Look away from the orb and then get away from the flower. Look away from the orb first. Get away from the flower. Get away from the flower. We have pushed everyone inside the hitbox. This is going to be a hot wing. We want to be inside the hitbox. Stay away from the front of the boss. The boss will be doing a tank buster very shortly after. Right. This is a shared buster. Tanks in front. Share this buster. All right. This is a solo buster. Desarius needs to be completely alone. Nobody should be in front except for Desarius. All right. Next, stay grouped. We're going to get chains, just like you've seen in the vault. Once these chains go out, we're going to break them, and then we will put our backs to a barricade. Wait for them. Break your chains now. Break your chains, put your back to a barricade. This is a knockback mechanic. Swords are glowing, it's knockback. Right, back into the center. We're going to get Ifrit dashes soon. Follow the Danger Dorito for the dashes. We're just going to follow in the order they spawn. We do not want to be in their in the line of their dash. We're going to move towards the south, follow the Danger Dorito. We're going to rotate clockwise. This is associated with a hide mechanic. Get to that barrier in front of us, sprint to that barrier, hide behind the barrier, or hide behind any barricade. That's my call. That's my bad call. Everyone get back in. Just shake it off. Let's keep going.
Yep.
Group up on the Danger Dorito. And stay grouped. We're going to bait regular line AoEs. That's my bad. I misjudged that distance. We're just going to keep at it. Regular line AoEs. Use eyes. Walk out. Right? Stand on yellow. Everyone, look at the floor. You want to be standing on yellow sand. Yellow sand is what we want to be standing on. Next, we're going to get Earthshakers, and we're going to stand on blue. So make sure you're standing on blue. Earthshakers will be associated with this next mechanic. If you get the Earthshaker tether, just rotate it away from the party. Everyone on blue. Rotate that away from the party, please. Next, we're going to stand on yellow. There's going to be another Earthshaker. Rotate those away from the party. Stand on yellow. We're going to get regular line AoEs after this. Just walk out. Use your eyes. Just going to be a raid wide incoming. All right. After this cast, try to center the boss and point it in a cardinal direction best you can. It's all right. Enter cardinal of the boss very far out. Do not greed this if you don't know how to greed this. Enter cardinal of the boss very far out. Good work. Everyone back in. There's going to be more Ifrit dashes. This time it's going to be associated with a four-sword adventure in the center. We're going to avoid the 4 dashes, or we're going to avoid all the dashes, and then we're going to return to the center to do our 4 slashes. Right? Follow the danger Dorito. Rotate with the danger Dorito. It's going to be a double movement. It's going to be front, back, back, front. Front, back, back, front.
Back
Front for
back.
one. Sorry,
Oh,
front,
never
back,
mind.
back, front.
Right. Yeah,
Front,
you're right. Sorry.
back, move through. Wait for it, move through again. Look away from the orb, get away from the flower. Away from orb, away from the flower. Group up. These are chains. Group up these chains. Break these chains best you can. Run away. Break these chains. It's going to be a raid wide coming up soon. Mitigate through this and heal afterwards. There's going to be a tank buster. Clear the front side. Only Deseris should be in the front. Cool. All right. Next big mechanic. It's going to be the four-sword adventure with sand or stone. We're going to be given a color to stand on. Then we're going to do the four swords and then end on the opposite color. We're going to stand on a color, do the four swords, and then end on the opposite color. It's going to be front, front, back, back. Front, front, back, back. We're going to stand on blue. Stand on blue. Center is blue. Wait for 2 slashes before you move through. That's 1. That's 2. Move through. End on sand. Make sure you're standing on yellow sand for this. It's going to be one more. One more. It's going to be on sand. Stay on sand. This is going to be the look away orb. Get away from the flower. And then there's going to be regular line AoEs afterwards. Do the white line AoEs before the orange. Look away from the orb. Get away from the flower. And then out of these orange lines. All right, group on up. There's going to be a raid wide. Mitigate through this and heal afterwards. All right, stack in the boss's hitbox. This is going to be the hot wing that we saw earlier. Make sure you're in the boss's hitbox. Do not be on his sides. Okay, this is going to be the knockback or hide with that clone on the edge of the field. We're going to look for the clone. That's going to be the four-sword adventure. We're going to do our knockback or hide first, and then we're going to do the slashes from the clone. Clone is in the north. It's going to be a hide mechanic. It's going to be left, left, right, right. Hide behind a barricade quickly, quickly, quickly. Hide behind any barricade. It's going to be left, left, right, right. On the clone, left, left, right, right. Follow the danger Dorito. That's 1. That's 2. Move through. Move through. Wait for these chains. As soon as you break these chains, healer LB3 in the center. Break these chains now. Healer LB3 in the center. Get up your allies. This is just a raid wide. Okay. This is going to be a knockback or hide with brick or sand. We're going to be on the brick or sand first and then knockback or hide. It's going to be a knockback. Pay attention to the color you need to stand on. Put your back to a barricade now. Stand on blue. On blue, back to a barricade. Blue, back to a barricade. All right, this next one is pretty scary. It's going to be chains first, then mercy swords, and then followed by a knockback or hide. It's going to be chains first, so group up. Pay attention to the mercy. It's going to be on the clone. The clone is going to do the mercy swords. Here's the chains. Group up for the chains. It's going to be a front, front, back, back pattern. Break these chains. Get behind a barricade. Oh, no, it's going to be in front of a barricade. My bad. Back, back, back to a barricade.
I'm down. All
right, tanks, just pick up aggro, kill the boss. This is a baleful. Get out of the way, clear the front, clear the front, clear the front. If you're in front of the boss, clear away. It's on Lydia. Kill the boss. Ooh, that is my bad. All right, nobody move ahead. We're going to make sure we resolve all of our deaths first. Try to prioritize healers first if you can. If there's anyone that has 200 seconds or less on their res timer, please let us know in chat.
Duelist is percepting. And then once you're done, Ed, I'll meet you down in Golem's chat.
Apologies for
160.
making that
No,
weird call out.
No, that's fine.
I
You
shouldn't have done
you
that.
honestly thought that was the call, and I
Yeah, but I
mean,
mean, it's your run, right? I shouldn't
Right.
be assuming that responsibility if I'm not the host, so I need to
right.
exercise some
Oh, that's
self-discipline there.
I usually assign like a backup call. I haven't done that. That's my bad. So yeah, but I understand. Yeah. So let's let's let me make the mistakes.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. 'Cause at the end of the day, this is still your run, so I shouldn't be
Yes.
interfering with that. So
It's all right.
apologies there.
I made a very bad call on that first Ifrit dash. I would like to clarify that that call was expecting people to. I ended up popping sprint for some reason to get to the far wall, and I believe that that was the correct call, and that was not the correct call. So I wanted to clarify that that was why a lot of people got hit by that. By that, nobody take any action with this countdown. This action is for the duelist. Okay. From this point on, if we are in a Vash run, I would not like any cooldown or countdown used for starting the duel, please. It's just information I don't want to have to panic about.
Oh, Izumi has a very short timer.
Yes.
We
Oh,
got it. They're already
okay.
back up.
Sacrifice?
Okay.
I was ready for a sacrifice in case that went wrong.
My finger was also on the button.
Same.
Is it Stringer
Hold on.
Stringer Bell or Stringer Bell? You're still down here. Here, I'm gonna make another attempt.
Yeah, they were down from the wall, so they're probably pretty short on time too.
Did they get caught with a LB3 and then just dive back here again?
Yeah, they did. They got
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so their timer isn't that low.
Oh, okay, sweet.
It's getting there though. The longer they stay down. All right, so 322 seconds. So that's like 5 minutes and 22 seconds. So hopefully
Okay.
within that time we can get them up.
I never saw that guy live that long. He was kind of hitting us with everything, huh?
Mhm. It happens once in a while.
A lot of deaths early on will make the fight go a lot
Yeah.
longer.
It's also kind of spooky because that final tank buster that was like a solo buster, that one can be either stack or the solo buster. It just depends on which swords or if it's glowing or not. And then after that, depending on the length of the fight or various other factors that I still haven't. I don't know if we've figured them out, but the boss can do some funky things afterwards. Like it's not like set in stone. Like on my list, I
it'll
have
repeat from Mercy. It'll repeat from Mercy.
that's
Rico
that's what I
close, right?
thought because
Yeah.
I've gotten it once when I saw it that far. But then there was a bunch of other runs where it was like the tank buster and then straight up just enrage.
Yeah.
So all right,
No, I think
be
yeah.
very careful with these traps. We're gonna move to the right hand side. We're gonna head on to the Dahu encounter. Please be very mindful of these traps. Don't auto walk. Don't auto run. Okay. The duel has actually begun already. So this is just a trash encounter. I'm gonna go over the spit flame and then the flares really quick, and then we're gonna get started. We're not gonna take too long to get set up with Dahu. So Dahu does a lot of things that we've already seen. He'll do that half circle slam on one side and then on the other. He'll have a knockback roar, and then all the lion dashes from around the side of the field. The only thing that will be new is the spit flame, which is the limit cut. In that case, if you get a set of dots above your head, pay attention to how they read. If you have a 1 dot above your head, you're going to go to the 1 marker. If you have 2 dots above your head, you're going to go to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. All this is that you're going to get hit by a flame attack that has an AoE splash associated with it, and you want to hit one of the monsters at the edge of the field to kill it. Killing will give us a safe spot to get knocked back into in the following mechanics. So just make sure that we do our best. And the first time it comes around, it's not too terrible if we miss 1 or 2, but we want to make sure that we rectify that for the second one. The second time Spit Flame occurs, nice. The second time Spit Flame occurs, it will be associated with tank flares for the knockback. So we want to make absolutely certain that we have at the very least, 1 safe spot north, 1 safe spot south. Tanks are going to get knocked back to the 4 or 3 marker with their flares. Everyone else that doesn't have a flare is going to get knocked to either the 1 or the 2 marker. If there's only 1 marker north, or 1 safe spot north, get knocked to that. If there's only 1 safe spot south for tanks, just make sure that you're popping mitigation and treat those flares like a tank buster. I would recommend that you treat those flares like a tank buster and just respect the mechanic from the very get-go. But just be aware that if you have to get knocked back to the same spot, if you have mitigation up, you shouldn't have to worry about the damage from flare. Just to reiterate, flares go south, everyone else goes north for that knockback mechanic. Right. With that said, everyone stand in front of the purple line when ready, and then we'll get started very shortly afterwards.
It is cleared.
Nice. Good work.
Thank you.
All right.
Super clean.
Have you already pulled Dahu?
Nope, we're about to. Deseris, just pull him.
Yeah, just pull him. I'm not joining Dahu, so go for it.
All right, make sure your stances are off. Only Deseris should have their stance on. This is going to be fallen rocks. Look at your feet. There's going to be rocks falling from the ceiling. Just avoid these AoEs. Also, just make sure you're not using lost actions for this encounter. This is technically a trash encounter. We do not need it. In front of the clear the front of the boss. The boss is turning around. Clear the front side. He's going to do a dash, and he's going to do a second dash immediately afterwards into a large cleave. Here comes the second dash. Then there's the big flame. Avoid this flame, and then recenter the boss, please. We're going to start seeing some lion dashes from the edge of the field. Just keep your eyes peeled. Look at your feet. Next major mechanic is going to be Spit Flame. It's going to be limit cut. Look above your head now. You should be getting dots very shortly. Very shortly. Above your head, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. Resolve that as quick as you can. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. Nice. There's going to be a shockwave, which is that half circle slam. Safe side first, then dodge into it. Dodge into it now. This is going to be our knockback to the safe side. Pick any safe spot you see. Cool. And then we're going to get merry-go-round. He's going to breathe fire 5 times in a big cone. Casters, you can stop rotating in the wake of the second cleave. That is 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. We're going to play Mr. President. Deseris is our president. They're going to get chained by a bunch of ads. We need to treat this like a really nasty tank buster, so healers, please be aware of your tank's HP. Everyone else, help AoE down these ads and help mitigate these if you can. Nice, nice, nice. Since there are no positionals in DRS, there's no need to worry about the Beyblade happening in the middle. We just want to kill all the ads that group up super nicely. All right, cool. stop rotating the boss, we're going to see every single mechanic we just saw in rapid fire. Order of operation is going to be puddles, fallen rocks, into shockwave, into spit flame. Fallen rocks, here comes the shockwave. Safe side, dodge into it. Look above your head, you're going to get a number very shortly here. There are your numbers. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. Please be very quick with these. These are the important ones. Right, tanks, you're going to get flares. Tanks, you're going to take these south. Everyone else, get knocked north. Tanks, treat these like busters and mitt them. And then we kill the Dahu. There's going to be a merry-go-round, 5 cleaves. Remember, casters can stand in the wake of the second cleave. That is 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice. We're just going to double check to make sure the floor is clean, that no one is laying down taking a nap. Nice.
But
just
mommy, I
double
want to
check.
take a nap.
No!
Ah, dang it. Also,
Sorry.
congratulations to our congratulations to our duelists. Thanks, Mushi.
Oh, yes. Let's make sure we clear Queen's Guard so we don't waste the rewards from that sweet, sweet duel. Yes. All right. Next encounter is going to be Queen's Guard. Yeah. Also, just make sure after every encounter you are grabbing your box. Remember that these rewards are individual. They are not. They're not going to fall in your inventory if anyone else picks up that the box. Okay. First things first, we're going to get tank duties situated. We're going to get reflects into spells situated afterwards. And then we're going to talk about a couple mechanics very briefly. Some mechanics that can trip up people quite easily. It shouldn't be taken lightly. All right. So these are going to be 4 tanks. If you are a tank, pick a spot. There we go. Okay, so let me go over what your duties are for these roles. Starting with Alpha and Bravo, you are going to be our main tanks for the remainder of this encounter specifically. Viserys, you're going to be Hex 1, you're going to be target to focus 1. Greater Stone, you're going to be target to focus 2. All this means is that you are going to be our main tanks for the main bosses for the entirety of this encounter. It also means you're going to be taking the turret tanks when they show up. You're going to provoke them, you're going to use your ranged ability to generate aggro, and then you're going to invuln once that sniper shot cast reaches 70% to mitigate that attack. Specifically, the 1 marker is going to be taking the Queen's Knight and the Queen Soldier. Or sorry, the target to focus 1 marker. So in this case, Viserys Tia. You're going to be taking the Queen's Knight and then the Queen's Soldier in the second half. Greater Stone, target to focus 2, you're going to be taking the Queen's Warrior in the first half, and then the Queen's Gunner in the second half. These bosses need to be tanked far away from one another, or separately. They just need to be far enough away so they do not tether. We do not want them tethering. They get a stacking damage and resistance buff. They become very resilient, and their raid wights get exceptionally deadly. So we want to prevent that under all costs. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to specifically have the warrior pulled by a greater stone to the east, and then Viserys, you'll take the Queen's Knight to the center after the warrior has been situated in the east. Please be sure and make sure that it is your utmost priority. After any major bomb or wind and gravity mechanics, that you immediately return to your bosses as quick as you can. If you need to save a gap closer to do so, please make sure you do so. We don't want the bosses moving at all. We have a little bit of grace period with the boost after wind and gravity, but we don't want to push it. Once the warrior and the knight is taken down, it'll be on DRS to take the Queen Soldier to the west wall first. Once the soldier has been situated on the west wall, Greater Stone, you can then take the gunner and place it in the center of the field. And then again, make sure that you're waiting for the proper time to leave your boss and then quickly return to your boss as fast as you can after mechanics to prevent them from moving any further. Since there's a really big emphasis on keeping the bosses from moving, if a mechanic, if you happen to fall to a mechanic, please let us know very clearly in voice or in yell chat, specifically which tank, 1 or 2 main tank, and we will get someone on it as quick as we can to adjust the situation. Right. And then in the second phase, during the soldier and gunner phase, that's when your gun turrets will spawn, and that'll be your mechanic. Now, for the numbered tanks, you're going to be dealing with aura spheres. I'm going to give you some marks first, and then I will let you know specifically what you're doing for aura spheres. Actually, in fact, do we have any tanks here that this is their first time doing tank duties? Mega Solomon. Is this your first time doing aura sphere? And then Rika. Okay, so we're just gonna go over aura spheres in its entirety. Okay, first time tanking it. All right. So Knackle has posted a image in raid text chat. That is going to be a map of all of the spheres that occur at the very end of this encounter. So once we defeat the first set of bosses and then the second set of bosses, we're going to go into Reflect and Aura Sphere phase. Bosses will show up. Aura spheres will show up in the north and the south, marked by those red circles on that map. And then all of the black circles are going to be reflect orbs. And you'll notice an arrow pointing from those black circles to the blue circles. That is going to be your reflect path. Since the orbs will pulse, I believe, twice before they detonate, what you're going to do as a reflector. Oh, well, sorry, I'm going off into reflecting. I went on a tangent here. Specifically tanks, right? What you are going to do, and in this case specifically, Mega Solomon, you are target to bind 1, that you are chain 1. What your specific duty is you're going to be the first tank to provoke the aura sphere in the north immediately after the bosses have been felled. So once both bosses jump away and we get all of our orbs, you're going to head to the north. You're going to turn your stance on. You're going to make sure that you provoke and tomahawk or lightning shot, whatever your aggro generation ability is. Make sure you establish a significant amount of aggro on that aura sphere. And we're going to have all of the associated alliances. In this case, north is going to be Alpha Bravo and Charlie Alliance. Head north and help DPS the aura spheres down. The only people that will not be DPSing the aura sphere will be the reflectors that are going to be running their path and reflecting their orbs. After the first set of aura spheres are dealt with, it'll be target to ignore. Target to ignore's turn. Now, target to ignore 1 and target to bind 1, you're going to be in the north. Target to bind 2, target to ignore 2, you're going to be in the south. Right? Targets to bind, the chain icons are going to go first. And then the targets to ignore will go second. Are there any tanks that are unclear what they need to do? Cool. Remember, target to bind will go first. Target to ignore will go second. Chains in the north, ones in the north, 2s in the south. Right. Next, I'm going to need volunteers for Reflect and Dispel. Let's just get, I need a Reflect call from each alliance, so go ahead and do that now in Yell Chat. So like Charlie Reflect, Alpha Reflect as an example. And then I also need volunteers for Dispel. And if it's your first time doing Reflect or Dispel, no worries. We'll walk and talk you through it so you know exactly what you're doing. Charlie Alpha Foxtrot Delta Bravo Echo. All right. Are there any reflectors that it's their first time reflecting? Needs refresher. Okay. Director Gabe, you are Bravo Reflect. All right. So, order of operations when reflect phase begins. Bosses, we will have just finished defeating, or quote unquote defeating, the Queen's Soldier and the Queen's Gunner. At that point, everyone is going to run to their north or south side of the field, right? Gabe, since you are Bravo, you're going to be running to the north side of the field, and your assigned orb, if you take a look at the map, is going to be directly in the center, or just off center in the north, right? It's going to be right around here. You're going to see a spiritual sphere right about here, right? What you're going to do is you're going to stand underneath it, and there's going to be an orange point blank AOE marker that will periodically show up underneath all of the reflect orbs. You're going to start with this orb first, right? And then once you pop reflect, stand underneath it, and you've successfully reflected the damage back to the orb, it will kill it. You will then immediately run to the next one, which should be about here, I think it's like actually close to dead east, right? You're gonna come in here and you're gonna just refresh your reflect, and then you're gonna reflect the second one. You're gonna do this twice. So there will be reflects and aura spheres. We'll take care of the aura spheres. We'll do the reflect path, and there will be a brief respite until another set of aura spheres show up and another set of reflects show up, right? So aura spheres will, target to bind. 1 and 2 will do their aura spheres in the north and south, and then you will do your reflect path. There'll be a little bit of downtime. We'll go back to doing DPS on the bosses. If players are down, usually between these reflect patterns is when I will call for a heal LB3. Just listen for the call if we do that. And then you will reposition back to do that same path again a second time. Right. And everyone else, they'll look at the same map, but they'll look for their particular letter based on their alliance, and that will be their starting position. The arrow will then show which orb they take next. Sound good? All right. I did not see any dispel volunteers. Can I get at the very least 2 dispel volunteers at the very least? I would prefer 3. Let's do 3. If you want to dispel, just call it out. If it's your first time dispelling and you don't know what it's all about, I'll go over it very briefly. Okay, so we have Solomon. Need 2 more people to volunteer. So just so we're covered. Cool. Arista. 1 more, please. 1 more volunteer. There should be plenty more people that have Dispel on their holster. Cool. Crystalline. All right. Do any of the Dispellers not know what they're doing? Refresher. Okay. Specifically during the first phase with the Knight and the Warrior. The Warrior in particular will cast an ability called Boost. Boost will put a really nasty damage up buff on it, and we need to get rid of it. Dispel is how we're going to do that. So after every major mechanic, I will say that the Warrior is boosting or the Warrior has boosted. If you hear me calling for a Dispel, just make sure that you're casting a Dispel on the Warrior. Don't expect that the other people are going to handle it. Just always assume that if you're alive and you hear for the Dispel call, just fire a Dispel off. If we see every single phase, we should see it 4 times. If we end it early, we'll see it less. but it will happen after every major mechanic, and I will do my absolute best to call it as early as I can. Sound good? Starting to lose my voice here. All right. Finally, the last thing to deal with lost actions. Healers, you should also have your Spellforge and your Steel Sting buffs. Make sure you have one of those slotted. You do not need Reflect immediately, since Reflect is at the end of the fight. So if you haven't slotted Reflect already, you can slot Reflect over your Steel Sting or your Spellforge after the Knight and the Warrior have jumped away. If you want to have both on your bar, I'm not going to stop you. But right now, we should make sure at the beginning of the fight that we have Spellforge and Steel Sting slotted for every alliance. So go ahead and do that. And during the countdown, the 30-second countdown, we're going to apply Spellforge and Steel Sting to all of our classes. If you are physical damage, you're going to put a purple buff on them. If they are caster, you're going to put a yellow on them. If you take a look in Raid Text Chat, there is a cool little infographic that shows you the classes that if I say either or, like if I say we need yellow or purple, these are the classes that need it every single time. We're going to reapply these during the 30-second countdown. Just be aware. The last thing I'm going to mention are a couple of the mechanics to just very briefly go over. There's going to be a phase in the, or a mechanic in the first phase with the Knight and the Warrior where bombs drop. Pay very close attention to where I tell Tethers to go. If I say Tethers to whatever bomb size, I'm talking about you as a player if you've been tethered, if you have a tether coming from the Warrior to you. In the case that you hear or that you see two sets of tethers, just listen to the call. The easy way to remember it is double or nothing, go big. So in this case, if you don't have a tether and you don't see any tethers, there's nothing on the field, go to a big bomb. If you see tethers to a bomb and then a tether on you, that's double. So go big. Double or nothing, go big. If you only see one set of chains, so if there's a chain on you but not on bombs, or a chain on bombs but not on you, that'll be the small bomb pattern. You will go to a small bomb. In particular, I want to mention the Knight will do a dash through the field. Make sure you're not in line of the dash, but in particular, if the Knight chooses shield, there's going to be a very large orb explosion at the end of the dash where it ends. So you want to make sure that you don't get knocked away from the center into wherever the Knight is going to finish its dash for shield. The knockback is only for the shield pattern. If it's swords, we're just going to be at a bomb at the edge of the field. There's no knockback associated with that one. Just know that if it's shield pattern, and I say get knocked back from the center away from the orb, just don't end up where the Knight is going to finish its charge. Try to get knocked like 45 degrees, away from the approach of the Knight. And finally, the Mustadio mechanic. If you have done Orbon Monastery and you remember the Mustadio mechanic, the sniper boss, right? He'll put a ring on you that's missing a chunk on it, right? It's the same mechanic, only it's going to happen. There's going to be two instances where you have to point your hole to. So for every mechanic, you're going to get to the safe part of the mechanic, and then you're going to point your hole to the gunner in the center of the field first. And then once the gunner does their attack, there's going to be a series of turrets on the east and west side of the field. You're just going to find a turret that has an arrow pointing your direction, and then you're going to stand directly in front in the line of sight of that arrow for that turret, and then you're going to point your hole directly at it. Remember, if the attacks aren't getting shot directly into your hole, you're going to get hit with a Thrice Come Ruin, and that's what we want to avoid. So just be aware that the Mustadio mechanic exists. It's going to happen here, and specifically for tanks, if you are the soldier tank, so in this case Tethers, do not move from your boss until you get your Mustadio ring. Once you get that ring, that's the sign that you can move away from your boss to adjust for the mechanic. And then just make sure you return to your boss immediately after the mechanic. All right. That was a lot of talking. That was a lot of words and a lot of setup. Let's get in front of the purple line when we're ready. Let's get some jumps going on. Let me see some movement. We have some people behind the purple line. Once they get in front, we'll get started here. Okay. All tanks, turn on your stances now. That is all tanks, turn on your stances. We're going to all try to fight for aggro. Make sure the duelist does not get any aggro on these bosses.
We have
Once-
2 duelists and a white mage.
Once we
What?
have,
Oh, never mind.
let's
Go ahead.
try to keep comms clear for now. Once the bosses all jump away, only Viserys and Greaterstone should have their stance on since they are the main tanks, and we will all turn our stances off. I'll make a call for taking all of our stances off, and then we will continue the fight as such. Viserys, whenever you're ready, give us 30 on the board, and healers start applying Spellforge and Steel Sting to the people who need it. Very important note, if it's Spellforge later on in the fight, double check to make absolutely certain that your tanks get it first, especially the main tanks. In the case that any adjustment needs to happen, if they don't have it, they won't be able to hold aggro because they will be dealing no damage. Right? We're going to use our lost actions for this. Treat this as a huge opener. Try to do as much damage as you can. All right, Raid Wides are going to be coming out very shortly here. Raid Wides, mitigate and heal through these. All right, tanks, turn your stances off. Only the main tank should have their stances on. Warrior to the wall first, and then move the knight once the warrior has been safely placed at the wall. All right, knight to the center. We are in Spellforge. You want the purple buff. You want to be doing magic damage. If you have the yellow buff, click it off. Click off the yellow buff. You want the purple buff. You want Spellforge, not Steel Sting. First mechanic is going to be bombs and tethers. Listen to the call. If you have a tether, I will tell you where to go. It is Shield Omen. It's going to be that slight knockback from the center to a bomb that you need. Do not end where the knight is dashing. If you have a tether, tethers are going to small. No tethers to big. Tethers to small, no tethers to big. Get knocked away from the orb to the bomb that you need. If you fall first, go to where you see an explosion. Where an explosion happened, run to that explosion. Tanks back to your bosses. Warrior is casting Boost. Please be aware, Dispellers. Dispel the boss now. Dispel the warrior now. Good work. This is a raid wide. Just mit through this. Heal up afterwards. Next mechanic is going to be Swirly Wind and Purple Gravity. If you get a tether, if you get a chain, you're going to go to Swirling Green Wind. If you don't get a chain, you're going to go to the purple sparkly gravity puddle. We're going to meet up in the center, and then we're going to deal with the mechanic with the knight in the center afterwards. Tethers to wind, green swirly wind. No tethers to purple. Tethers to wind, no tethers to purple. Meet up in the center. It's going to be out of the hitbox. Get away from the knight towards the east. Away from the knight, away from those glowing claws. Tanks back at it. Warrior is boosted. Please dispel the warrior. Raid wide incoming. Please reposition the knight as early as you can. Good work. This is Tank Busters on main threat. Healers, be aware. All right. We're going to get a refresh on that Spellforge or Steel Sting. Just wait to see what the call is. We need Steel Sting. Click off the purple buff. You need to be doing physical damage. Apply Steel Sting to the people who need it now. Try to keep these even. We're doing pretty good on this. Kill the knight and then the warrior. Kill the knight, then the warrior. We're going to ignore the mechanic. We're just going to kill the bosses. All right. Pull the soldier to the wall first. Hold the gunner until the soldier reaches the wall. It's all right. Soldiers reach the wall. You can center the gunner. First mechanic is going to be Flamin' Frogs. I will tell you which marker to stand by. We're going to stand in between the small fire frogs, and then we're going to point our Mustadio hole to the gunner in the center afterwards. Listen for the call. Safe spot is 3. Safe spot is 3. The marker, the waypoint 3. Point your hole to the gunner in the center. Do your Mustadio mechanic now. Point your hole to the gunner in the center, and then we'll do a turret afterwards. Wait for the... Cool. Now turret on the wall. Turret on the wall. Good work. Back to your bosses. This is Tank Busters on main threat. Healers be aware. Followed by a raid wide shortly afterwards.
Come on.
Deseris, if you can try to pull that soldier a little closer to the wall, I would appreciate that. Okay, we're going to get gun turrets very soon here. You don't have to stand at the wall, Deseris. Once, now that you've pulled them that far, just make sure you're standing inside close to your turret. Turrets should be spawning very soon here. Here's the cast. Main tanks, pick up your turrets. Provoke these. Everyone else, kill these turrets as quickly as you can. Main tanks, invuln the sniper shot cast at 70%. Invuln now. Healers, be aware there's a raid wide coming out. Heal up afterwards. Okay, this is going to be accompanied with fire or ice. If it's fire, we got to stop moving. If it's ice, we got to keep moving. Okay, put your weapon away, hands off the keyboard. Don't do anything, no auto attacks, nothing. Wait for it. You're clear to engage. Just going to be a raid wide right after. Oh, my bad. It's double jumpy boys. These are going to be the clones. We want to look for the untethered clones. They will be the safe ones to stand next to. We're going to stand next to the safe ones and then do our Mustadio. If you're going to keep DPS up, try to keep the DPS even. Safe clones are Charlie and Bravo. I will call the safe spots after 2 jumps. Never mind. Alpha Bravo Charlie, go north. Echo Delta Foxtrot, go south. Chain tanks, you are going to be Aura Spheres first. Reflectors, get in position now. Everyone kill your Aura Spheres first. Make sure that these do not get off their cast. Reflectors, get in position. Do your reflect path. Aura Sphere tanks, invuln that. And DPS on the bosses. If you have heal LB3, use it in the center now. Alright, reflectors in position. Disengage from the bosses. Do not hit them. Wait for the parry. Alright. We're going to engage on the Aura Spheres. We're going to go back to the Aura Spheres first. We're going to kill the Aura Spheres reflectors. Get in position. Orbs are out now. Target to ignore. Make sure you are provoking. You are the ones taking these busters. Cool.
Oh no.
Damage on the bosses. No worries. It's alright. Just do damage to the bosses. No more orbs. If you still have heal LB3, now's the time to do it. Cast it as quick as you can. Oh well. We have a few on the ground. Let's not move forward until we resolve all of our dead.
Forgets how big dance step is. Standard step. Oops.
A little bit. It's a little up there.
In normal, I
Hello?
got parried by 3 of the 4 at one time.
We have 2 chests as a reward thanks to Edogard Silverstorm. So make sure you thank Edogard for that second chest.
Aim big.
I don't know how Eric Dinglefart is always in frame when my eyes are dragging across names. Maybe it's because my party list names are set to orange, but man, I keep seeing Dinglefart and it keeps like almost getting some kind of response out of me. It's a good name, man. All right. Just confirming we don't have any more dead on the ground. I'm not seeing any bars. All right. Team leads, just confirm you are checking, making sure everyone is up. They are alive. Make sure you're grabbing your chest. You're not you're not leaving your rewards behind. Remember, they are personal. You have to grab them yourself. We're going to move on to Fant. Knackle. You have do you have banish?
I do.
Cool.
And I'm gonna click that thing in my holster, and I'm gonna slot it in right now.
Awesome. Yes, I did the thing. I'm learning.
Oh, me too.
All right. I'm going to. Oh, where'd Ceres go? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Ha 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 ha.
I'm gambling again.
Cool. All right. Ceres looks like they're taking off to the one marker. We're all gonna gamble on the one marker. We're gonna pull it to the one marker. Yeah, we're gonna gamble. So for those of you who don't put down ley lines and don't blow everything right here at the beginning, I'm not saying you're a coward. I'm just saying you're not in the gambling spirit. That's what we like to do here in my runs. I like gambling. I play too many gacha games not to like gambling. All right. Nothing really spooky about this. We have Banish handled by Knackle. This fight should go by pretty quickly. White Misty Raids will have to be healed once we see the ad phase. If we see the ad phase, Red Ghost will have to be DPS normally. We can all handle this with callouts. So, Ceres, whenever you're ready, you can just pull it. Pull it on over to 1. If you have any remaining lost actions, use those here and mitigate this upcoming raid wide, please. And we will see if our gamble pays off. Oh, no! Okay, off to 4. Everyone to 4.
I'm
One of
0
these
for
days,
2. I'm 0 for 2.
one of these days, you're gonna pick 4, and it's gonna be 1. All right, everyone on the 4 marker. This moves faster than normal. Just make sure you're following it, respecting it. There is a death wall at the end. Do not run into the death wall. Please be very careful with that icky purple goo puddle stuff. And then we're moving to Charlie. Move to Charlie now. To Charlie. All the way to the Charlie marker. We're going to sit here. If you have stuff to pop, pop it now. We're going to be here for a while. All right. We're going to wait for 3 flashes on Delta. We're going to move to the Delta marker afterwards. And then we will return to Charlie after we see that Charlie has finished with its flashes as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, over to Delta. We're going to wait for Charlie to flash 3 times and then return to Charlie afterwards. 1, 2, 3. Back to Charlie. Boss will reposition in the center for ads and then go invulnerable. Red ads are damaged normally. White ads are healed to death. Quite literally. All right, that's wave 1 of 3. This is wave 2 of 3. All right, final wave. After this wave has been resolved, make sure that we interrupt the cast on the boss in the center.
Southwest Misty Wraith needs attention. Okay.
Healers you lost.
Nice. And then we just burn this guy. Just dumpster him. Okay, cool. So, do not move ahead. We're going to have our preceptor, our assigned preceptor, go ahead and reveal all the traps for us. That is going to be Keiki. Do not pass Keiki. Let them reveal all the traps for us. Making sure we don't have anyone on the floor back here. Team leads also just be making sure that you're double checking your parties. Make sure everyone has re-raise. No one's dead. We're not leaving anyone behind. Okay. Please be very careful with these traps. No auto run, no auto walk. We need to manually avoid all of these traps. Once we get downstairs, there's going to be some pink bacon angel traps. We need to avoid those at all costs. We're going to need them after Trinity Avowed. Ooh, be very careful with this middle hallway. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
it's all right. Move very slowly. Very slowly. Hug the right wall. Hug the right wall. Not what we want to see, but it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. Just remember this for the next runs. Whenever we get downstairs, you have to very carefully turn your camera, look where you're walking, make sure you know exactly where you're going because you have no idea where those traps could be. All right. Welcome to TA. Before we get into explanations, I'm going to take a quick break. I need to go do a bio thing, and then I need to grab a drink. So take this as your opportunity to go do a quick bio or do anything you need to do real quick. I'm going to be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. All right. Yeah, make sure you do a little bit of a wiggle so you don't get kicked. Okay. Trinity Avowed. Yeah. Trinity Avowed is hard. She is not easy. I would consider her probably the most difficult fight in this raid. Reason being, her temperature mechanic comes back and with a vengeance. I cannot solve any of these mechanics for you. You are the only one that can solve your temperature mechanics. I cannot tell you where to go to resolve them. That being said, I'm seeing that we have a lot of people that have been here before and seen this. However, we have a few new people. For the new people, I'm going to try my best to explain how I will do calls. If you have no idea what's happening, don't stress about it. This boss is very hard, and sometimes the calls can sound a little interesting, right? If you have no idea what's going on and you hit the deck and your re-raiser procs, just pop another re-raiser and try to roll with the punches. Try to keep up with what's going on in the fight. The best way to learn is to get slapped, get knocked back down, or get knocked down and get knocked back up again, or get at knocked back down and I got up again. That thing, right? That's what I meant to say. She's not easy. Okay. So, temperatures. When we first start this fight, she's going to do the same thing that she did in normal mode. She's going to give you a temperature. The mechanic might look a little different, but the resolution is the same. You want to make sure that your temperature over your head gets neutralized so you don't have any standing temperature by the end of the mechanic and you're good, right? She will do that for 3 of her little mini phases, and then she'll go into what we call complicated mechanics. They look pretty much the same. They're going to be pretty much the same core mechanic or the same core attack. However, it's going to be associated with an elemental brand. Now, I'm going to go grab an image real quick, and I tend to just explain what the debuffs look like, because they can be pretty confusing seeing them for the first time. Now, if you look at the chart that I put in Raid Text Chat, this will show you how to solve your temperature. If you have absolutely no idea what's going on, you can just look at the 2 debuffs you've got, and this will tell you what you need to do. I feel that it's very, very difficult to do that in the middle of the run, to pull your vision away and to look at this chart, figure it out, and then do the mechanic. I feel like it takes too long. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Take a look at the debuffs that line the top of this chart. They all look like thermometers, right? Or they look kind of sort of like thermometers. These are going to be elemental brand. This is what will happen during the complicated second set of mini phases that we see, right? This will always be associated with an overhead temperature, right? Every single mechanic will have an overhead temperature for it. Every major mechanic for a mini phase will have an overhead temperature. But this is the elemental brand. This is what will happen later on in the fight. This is the difficult thing. This is the hard thing. If you look on the left-hand side of the chart, it looks like a head and shoulders, right? It looks like a person, like the silhouette of a person's head and shoulders, and then it has arrows above them, and it's either red or blue. It's fire or ice, right? The most important thing is to make sure when we get complicated mechanics that instead of getting to neutral, you want to have the opposite of your brand, right? So the thermometer icon needs to be the opposite number and color of your overhead temperature debuff, right? So as an example, if your overhead brand is, or if your brand debuff is 2 ice, you need to get hit by whatever mechanic is going to make it so that you reach 2 fire over your head. So that way both debuffs are opposite, they'll neutralize at the end of the mechanic, and then you'll be clear, right? So the first 3 mechanics to neutral. The last 3 mechanics, the next 3 after the easy ones, the neutral, I say easy, but it's just neutral and then opposite. Neutral and opposite. Sword callouts. Sword phase is going to look a little bit different. In normal mode, there's only 1 sword cleave, right? It's just the boss cleaving swords left and right. In this, she'll summon 4 clones that are intangible. You can't do damage to them. It's a full downtime mechanic. Spend all of your time, all the time that you need as best you can, figuring out how to adjust your temperature, right? Sword mechanic is going to work as follows. A bunch of clones are going to show up. They're going to start holding their swords and charging an attack. And I will call a safe tile. Now, if you look on the field, we have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 markers, the waypoints out there. I will call one of those waypoints as the safe tile. The safe tile means that it's not going to get struck by any sword cleaves. It's not going to get any temperature adjustment whatsoever. So if you stand there, your temperature isn't going to change at all. However, you will need to adjust your temperature at the very least once. You will need to get struck at the very least once for these mechanics, right? The second time it happens, you may need to get struck twice. Just be very careful. Make sure you're very mindful of your temperature and your brand, whether it's just neutralize or make opposite of your brand. So if I say something like 4 is the safe tile, right? The 4 waypoint, the tile that waypoint is on, will not get struck by any attack. Okay. If you need to adjust your temperature, the only viable tiles to stand on will be north, south, east, or west of the 4 tile, right? Of the safe tile. So in this case, it's 4, right? So visually, the 1 marker, the 1 way mark, the 3 way mark, and the delta way mark will all be viable tiles to adjust your temperature. Same thing with the white tile that's south of the 4 marker. Just because there is no waypoint there doesn't mean that it isn't safe to get hit by. Just make sure that you make it to the safe tile first. You look around for the clone that has your temperature, figure out which direction she's going to be slamming her sword, right? And then you're going to move off of the safe tile. north, south, east, or west 1 tile to get struck by the temperature you need. If for any reason, in this example, you're on like the 2 waypoint or intercardinal tile of the 4 tile, you will be killed instantly. You are going to get struck by 2 cleaves and it will kill you instantly. No questions asked. Right? So make sure you're only moving north, south, east, or west, only cardinal directions. Do not move intercardinal of the safe tile. All right? From that point, it's going to be on you to adjust your temperature. And if you don't understand it the first time, just do your best to try and look around and see what's happening and see what people are doing as best you can. Next, Force March exists in this fight. If you're not familiar with Force March is a mechanic that will put a red debuff icon on your debuff bar with a white arrow pointing in one of the 4 directions: north, south, east, west, or up, down, left, right, whichever is easy to remember. The most important thing is when that debuff times out, it's going to rotate your character. It's going to forcibly turn your character that direction based on where your character is facing, and it's going to march you 2 tiles in that direction. Ninjas, you will move a little bit farther than 2 tiles. It's like 2.5. If you sheathe your weapons, that will get rid of your trait, and you will move the same 2 tile distance that everyone else does. So keep that in mind. You might need to pre-position a little bit further if you're a ninja, or be a little bit more mindful of your positioning. Okay? Force March will happen a couple times in the fight, but the most dangerous moment it'll occur. I apologize for the noise in the background. Just one moment. Sorry. I'm okay, I promise. It's my garage door. I'm in the garage currently. I lost my train of thought. Oh, Force March. At one point in time during the complicated bow pattern, there is going to be a moment where you're going to get a Force March, you're going to get an overhead temperature, and a brand. It's a really difficult mechanic. There's a lot of moving parts. It's okay. If you need to stop DPS on the boss in order to solve the mechanic properly, do so. The way it's going to work is your Force March should take you to the tile you need to get hit by from the arrow coming down the ladder game. Remember that in the ladder game, the arrows are going to go down tubes, and they will take every turn on the way down to reach the end of the maze, right? So just make sure that you're going to get Force March 2 tiles to the tile that's going to get struck by the temperature you need to get hit by to be opposite of your brand, right? Do not use sprint during this fight. If you use sprint during Force March, things could potentially get really messy. There is only one point in this fight I will tell you to sprint, and it's going to be to run away from the fire column during complicated bow, right? No, this is exactly where you do not slot that, because if you do slot that, I will forcibly remove you from my run. We will.
I am actively joking. I do not actually have impetus. You could check me.
All right. I don't need to check you. I just need it to be very clear. If people bring lost impetus and use it during any Force March mechanic, that is a very swift removal from my run. I want it to be very clear that that is not allowed in any of my runs. Right? If I allow it, I will very explicitly say so at the beginning of my runs. Until that day happens, never expect me to allow lost impetus in a run. Cool? Cool. Very bad. It's very bad. That's why. If you're wondering, it's because it's very bad. I don't joke around with that. Right. Let's go over our starting checklist, our lost actions. Tanks need to make sure that they have lost Aether Shield slotted in at this point. So if you are the main tank for your party, make sure that you have Aether Shield on your bar and it's ready to go. We need that for every single Gloria Baja raid wipe. That raid wipe hits very hard and it leaves a very damaging bleed on people. which is also why if you only have one tank, your pseudo tank has been ordered to bring Stone Skin 2. If you are a pseudo tank, make sure Stone Skin 2 is slotted. You will use Stone Skin 2 at the beginning of each Glory Basha cast, so it is up before the cast actually resolves. Once the damage resolves, you're going to pop it a second time to help reduce the bleed damage on your party. Healers, just be very aware the bleed hurts really bad, and if it isn't mitigated at all, it's going to very quickly zero people out. So just pay very close attention after every raid wide and treat just heal your team up accordingly. There should be players with Lost Shell 2. If anyone has Lost Shell 2, stand behind the purple line and allow them to place it on you. Once you get Lost Shell 2, you're going to move in front of the purple line and we'll get started at that point. Now would be a good time to double check your food buff, make sure food is up, make sure you still have pots ready to go. We're going to try our best to kill TA as quickly as possible so we see as few mechanics as possible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's very difficult. She's not an easy fight. I consider her the hardest. So if the run ends here, don't take that as a loss. Don't take that as like we did stuff wrong, right? It's just we got some learning to do. And she takes a few tries to figure out how everything works. Trust me. No one's going to make fun of you for hitting the deck in this fight. I hit the deck in this fight regularly, okay? All right, make sure if you get Lost Shell 2 that you're moving in front of the purple line so we can tell when we're ready. And it's also easier for the people applying Shell 2 to figure out who needs it and who doesn't.
Sorry for stressing you out, Bash.
It's not that I'm stressed out. It's that I want it to be extremely transparent, like crystal clear, that that is not allowed.
Actually, it's not allowed on any NA server, and in 4 of them, it's an insta-ban.
Right. I believe
if you don't have permission from the raid lead.
I don't even remember if it's insta-ban here, but I know it's an instant kick from my run if it happens.
It's insta-ban here.
Cool.
It's in the requirements to participate.
I thought so.
I wasn't 100% certain.
But
yeah, I was just telling my party back when it first came out, like some helpful individuals thought they were helping out with mechanics by popping it before like Ifrit dash, and people were getting dashed into the wall.
No.
Now, I do regret to inform you, actually, that's when a tank would use it if they're using Blood Rage, but they need permission to do that.
Yeah, no, like let's leave it as if you use it, expect to be gone. Like you will be disappeared from the run.
Wait, real quick, that does proc the Blood Rage?
It's a dash.
It's a dash, yeah.
Sweet. I was told it was only gap closers.
Only
It
dashes.
is a gap closer.
Oh.
It works like an Avant. Like the dancer in Avant.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Sweet.
Yeah. Issy, are you
Yeah,
there?
it's problematic for like when we're doing the Ifrit dash and TS, and like someone suddenly pops it and people just sprint into the death wall not expecting the speed boost.
Right.
Like that's, or like even here, like for a forced march, like you don't want to force march your team into the wall. Like there's just no situation here where it's.
I have a cannon
beneficial.
for an arm. I will remove you from the party if you have impetus and you use it. All right,
And cool. I will
let's
accelerate that projectile and remove you from the Discord server.
Holy, I love the energy on that. All right, let's shake it off. Let's focus on TA, right? Make sure your food is up and it's refreshed. Desarius, 30 on the board, and we're gonna get started. Right, all tanks stances off. Only Desarius should have their stance on. Now, the very first thing that she will start with is a shared tank buster. So once she stops moving, tanks just pre-position in front for that shared buster. Right, tanks in front, pre-position for this buster. And very shortly after, we're going to do our mitigation here. Aether Shield, Stone Skin now. Aether Shield, Stone Skin now. Stone Skin again. Help out with the bleed. We're going to get a series of attacks here. We're going to stand behind the boss to start. Make sure you are behind the boss. Right, pre-position in front of the boss. This is in front of the boss. Make sure you are in front, nowhere else. Cool. Next is going to be a point blank AoE. If you do not know how to greet this, do not chance it. Just get away from the boss. Get away from her now. Get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. Be safe. Right, everyone back in. It's going to be staff, bow, sword as our pattern. We're going to start with fallen rocks, the big flamey ice rocks. Yeah. Look above your head. You have your temperature now. Look at your debuffs. You have a temperature. You're going to get a force march. You're going to use this force march to march yourself to the meteor that you need, right? Do your math, figure out what you need to get hit by to get neutral. You want your temperature to be neutralized. Point your force march now. Point it now. Just respect the mechanic, point it now. Nice, nice, nice. There's going to be another raid wide. Aether Shields, Stone Skin 2. Use that now. Mitigate this attack. And then everyone can pre-position south of the 3 marker. She's going to reposition herself to the 3 marker very shortly. Stone Skin 2 again. Make sure you're popping it again for those bleeds. Behind the boss. Behind the boss. Make sure you are south of the 3 marker behind the boss. Tanks pre-position in front. We're going to get our force march assigned, and then there will be a shared buster. Look at your force march. Be very clear what it's going to force you to do. Mitigate this. We're going to take this force march, and we're going to use it to run away from the fire column. There's going to be a column on east or west. We're going to run away from it. Point it away. We're going to Bravo. Point your arrow to the Bravo marker. If you die in the fire, have a healer on your team rescue you out of the fire. If you're re-raised procs, have them rescue you back. All right. Check your overhead temperature. This is going to be the ladder game. There's going to be arrows. They're going to have temperatures assigned. Just make sure that you follow every turn down the ladder, and that will be your answer. Do that now. Just do your mechanic. Solve the mechanic now. Let's be safe. Cool, cool, cool. Everyone group up. There's going to be a raid wide soon. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2. Heavy mitigation. This is going to hurt. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2. Reapply Stone Skin 2 now. Right? Just point the boss towards the middle of the field. Just point her towards the 3 marker. No need to move her. Everyone in front of the boss. This is going to be that front safe spot. We're going into sword phase. This is a full downtime mechanic. If you still have a 2-minute burst available, hold on to it. Wait for after this phase. Look overhead. You have your temperature assigned to you now. Pay very close attention to what I call as the safe tile. You're only going to move north, south, east, or west of the safe tile. Safe tile is 2. First safe tile is 2. You're going to move north, south, east, or west of the safe tile. Right? Second set of cleaves coming out. Next safe tile is 3. Safe tile is 3. This is your last chance to adjust your temperature. North, south, east, or west of the 3 tile is viable. Right? Everyone group up. Aether Shields, Stone Skin 2. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2 now. Heavy mit this. All right. She's going to start her cycle again. We're going to go into complicated mechanics. She's going to start with staff. Remember, we're going to get out of the hitbox, get away from her. If you don't know how to greet this, get far away. Just respect it. Get away from her. All right, everyone back to the center. There are no force marched with these rocks. There's just going to be a bunch of temperature rocks, and you're going to walk yourself to them. There will be dashes originating from the north and the east wall. Look at the Charlie marker. Charlie marker in the northeast will show you where the dashes are coming from. Now, look at your debuffs. You have an overhead temperature and a brand. Get hit by the temperature that will make you opposite of your brand. You want those two debuffs to be opposite of one another. Walk to your rocks now. Safe spots are inner white corners. Inner white tiles are safe for your rocks. Inner white tiles. Right? Group up. We're going to get a raid wide very shortly here. Aether Shield, Stone Skin now. Aether Shield, Stone Skin now. Mitigate this heavy mid. If you die in re-raise, just pop a re-raiser, get back into it. We're going to go into Complicated Bow next. We're going to pre-position south of 3. She's going to reposition to the middle of the field. Get behind the boss. Get behind the boss. Pre-position on the east-west dark tiles of the boss. It's either going to be dark tiles or intercardinal white tiles are safe. We're going to wait for dashes to go off, and then we're going to run away from the fire. We're going to run ourselves away from the fire. All right? It's dark tiles, dark tiles. We're going to sprint to Bravo. Sprint to Bravo now. And just kill the boss.
Please do not ever DPS LB.
That's all right. People don't know, and I didn't mention it at the beginning of my run. I will say now, given the circumstance, a DPS LB is actually a pretty significant DPS loss. It's not like, you know, super detrimental to your party, but it's also just, you know, the boss dies slower, you know? Because of all the lost actions and all of the scalings, you actually do more damage than your LB3. So it's more beneficial to keep your LB3 for either reses or for tank LBs. We're going to wait right here in this room until all deaths are resolved, and then we're going to have our special interaction afterwards. Queen is not the next encounter. All right. Do we have any more deaths? I don't see any bodies on the floor. All right. Everyone, let me give me the Danger Dorito. Follow the Danger Dorito. We're going to head south back the way we came. Now, I was very adamant about not popping those Bacon Angel traps. The reason why is because we absolutely need those to progress further on into the raid. So we're going to head on back over here, follow the Danger Dorito, and we're going to crowd around this purple trap. Or this pink trap, I should say. Purple, pink. Doesn't really matter. So get right close to it. Don't pop it yet. We're going to wait for everyone who wants to experience it to come up. Now, I think we might have... if we have over 30 people, sometimes it won't affect a few. And that's just because the limit for this debuff is about 30 people. So I don't see anyone else. All right. After the countdown is finished, we're going to sprint as fast as we can back across the arena that we just fought on. There's going to be a jump pad and then a gate. You're going to use the resulting debuff to squeeze your way through that gate. So in 3, 2, 1, hit the trap. And sprint your way through the arena. Little tiny people running across the great big ground. So very tiny. All right. You see these bars? You're gonna just wedge through them like greased up. Oh! Keki just stole that. All right, hold up. Be very careful down the steps. We are gonna have Maya do their. I believe it was Maya. They're gonna do their percepts. Let Maya do their percepts first. As soon as you go through the loading zone, just stop. Don't move. You don't want to run. You do not want to run the risk of getting hit by a trap. Cool. Okay. There's going to be a trap around the other door as well, so just be very careful. Walk around these traps very carefully. mindfully walk around them. Do not auto run. Make sure you're turning your camera. There's going to be one on the bridge here. Be very careful.
Minis, stop moving.
Yeah.
Minis, stop moving. You're about to receive a massive speed boost. Stop moving.
Yeah, you're about to return to normal speed. All right. And then we're going to have a controlled explosion on that trap in just a moment here. We're going to have everyone get to the purple line here. All right. Everyone clear away from the trap. We're going to have Mega Solomon pop it. Cool. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to assign tank roles, tank duties. Welcome to Minotaur. Minotaur has a heavy emphasis on tank duties and also a pretty significant emphasis on Reflect and Dispel. Can I get volunteers for Minotaur tanks? I need 4 of them. It's all right. If it's your first time, I recommend trying it out. I think that this is like the most fun thing you can do as a tank in this whole raid. Right, cool. So we have our Minotaur tanks. Next, we're going to have our trap sweeps. So just on the letter markers next to your tank partners. So I need tanks for each of these letter markers. Cool. All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right. If you are on a letter marker, please memorize who your partner is by number. So Alpha, you're going to be 1, Bravo 2, Charlie 3, Delta 4. Okay. These are going to be your starting positions around the fields. Around the field. Is there anyone here as a tank who is unfamiliar with what they need to do as a tank? Sasori. Okay. So Sasori, you are a trap sweep. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on the field and I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. Right? Here's the markers. So Sasori, you're here on 3, right? This is your starting position. If you take a look, you notice this like white and blue checkered like ring around the field. As long as we stay on this, we can walk around the whole field. So we're going to do a dry run of what you're going to do. So follow me with the danger Dorito. Come up here, come up here. Here's how this is going to work. Once the boss reaches 70% HP, we're going to go into this Minotaur ad phase. This ad phase can potentially be very dangerous. You'll notice the darker floors like to the left and right, like the inside and outside of this ring. Those will all turn into like instant kill purple stuff, the same that we saw at Phantom, right? So we want to avoid stepping in it. You'll notice there's these little notches as well. These are going to be safe spots for mechanics. I'll go over those later as kind of like a blanket understanding because that affects everyone. Specifically, what you are going to be doing is you are a trap sweep. That means that you're going to be following your partner. So just pretend now that I'm the 3 marker. All right. Once the phase begins and the boss hits 70% HP, everyone is going to go out to their assigned markers. So you'll come here to the 3 marker and you're going to wait for your Minotaur tank to pick up the Minotaur that spawns in the center of the field. 4 of them will spawn. There's going to be one closer to this cardinal position than the others. Your tank partner is going to provoke it. At that point, you're going to follow along with him very slowly along the ring. We're going to just make this motion. Let's see. You're a paladin. So you're just going to keep shield lobbing with your stance off. Your partner's going to have their stance on. And you're just going to keep throwing your shield lob at the giant Minotaur that's following you and your partner. Once you make it to about this point right here, you'll notice the floor turns completely yellow. And you're going to walk all the way to the next waymark, right? So you'll end up here at 4. This is where your job comes in. That yellow floor that we see is actually going to start hiding a bunch of traps on the intercardinal locations around this ring. So your duty from this point on is once you make it here and the yellow subsides from the ground, you're going to pop your sprint, you're going to pop your invuln, and then you're going to run the next quarter lap. Right? You're going to go to the next waymark. Anything that blows up, good. You've just cleared the trap for your partner, and then you're going to return to your partner, and you're going to continue shield lobbing, and you're essentially going to be a backup tank in case they go down for any reason, right? At that point, you're just going to follow along. You're going to keep a safe distance away from the Minotaur. Do not let it auto attack you or your partner. Essentially, just keep a good distance. About, if you stay right there, about this distance is like a good distance to keep at the very least. This is like the closest you get, right? The distance between you and me right now. Okay? Is there anything that you're unclear about? Any questions at all? That's all right. After all of that I discussed, you're just going to keep going around the ring until your Minotaur dies, right? Everyone else is going to help do DPS, but as long as you do what we just discussed at the beginning and you clear the trap, once you essentially clear the trap, you've done the height of your duty. Then it's just staying with your partner and making sure that if they go down, you're there to help pick up the mob. Right. So tanks, just remember which part you remember your partners. Remember your starting locations based on number. We'll reassign them if we have to later on. Next, I need at least let's get at least 4 reflects and 4 dispels just to be absolutely safe with this next set of mechanics. Dispel, reflect, 3 dispels. Okay, we got our 4 dispels. 2 reflects, we need 2 more reflects. And if it's your first time, we'll give a brief description. It's super easy. It's, well, there I go saying it again. I will make sure that we are very clear on the mechanics so that it might feel easy. I don't know. No, let's leave that out. Let's not say that. Let's treat the mechanics with respect. Oh man. Again, like me saying things are easy is like a respect. Oh, okay. I mistook that for reflect there. Do you want to reflect me, Ori? I think you're a
he
tank,
wants to
actually.
respect. He wants to respect. He doesn't want to reflect. He wants to respect.
Yeah,
We'll have him
same.
respect.
If I reflect, I'm not respecting the mechanic as a tank. Absolutely correct. We have one more volunteer for reflect.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
Cool. Okay, so we have our 4 reflects, we have our 4 dispels. Is there anyone here that is brand new to reflecting or dispelling? Okay. Are you reflecting? You're dispel. All right. Here's how this is going to work. So I'm going to use some of these letter markers instead. So if you look a little bit further inside the ring, you'll notice, or inside the arena, you'll notice a smaller ring, kind of where I'm putting my markers, right? Similar to where the path I used outside to show the path for the tanks. There's a smaller one inside. Once the 70% mark hits the boss, we're all going to be inside this ring, and you are going to be dispelling. There's going to be balls of earth and balls of fire. Specifically, you're going to be avoiding mechanics, and you're going to be dispelling the balls of earth. Once the ball of earth is dispelled, you're going to throw a dot on it, or you're going to throw an instant cast damage ability. Any kind of damage. Just throw a dot on it. Any kind of damage will get rid of it after it's been properly dispelled. You just need to make sure that we dispel it in a timely manner so it doesn't detonate and apply a debuff to the whole party. Or essentially deal damage to the whole party and apply a stack of Twice Come Ruin. At this point in time, it is Twice Come Ruin, so 2 auto attacks from the Minotaurs, 2 attacks from anything that can be avoidable will apply Twice Come Ruin. So you will be on the inside ring, and you will be handling dispels on the balls of earth. Make sure that you do not stand underneath the balls of fire. The balls of fire need to be reflected. They work exactly like the spiritual spheres from Queen's Guard. You stand underneath them, you pop reflect the damage back, they die. Now, if we've got it, we're fine. Queen fight is like what, 11 minutes or something like that. It's like 10 minutes. We're totally covered. I'm almost finished with explanations here, anyways. If you have not been assigned a critical role, if you are not assigned a tank role or a dispel or reflect, your critical role is going to be DPS. And the way that we're going to do that is once the 70% mark hits the boss and he jumps away and the phase begins, everyone who is assigned to the DPS role is going to come right here to the 3 marker. You're going to do your best to try and stand on the center of the marker, and you're going to wait here. The tanks will start walking their minotaurs around, and you're going to stay right here planted on the marker. You can start, if ranged can start hitting the bosses. If melee are in range of the boss, you can do that. But as soon as the floor turns yellow, you need to be on the center of this 3 marker, and you need to wait patiently until the tanks do their trap sweep. Once the trap sweep from 2 reaches 3, and once the trap sweep from 3 reaches 4, you'll be safe to exit this marker, and you'll be able to spread out along the ring. And I would recommend spreading out along the ring. The coming mechanics will be either a lightning ring, which means either notch will be safe on this ring. If you see puddles on the floor, they're just like the fallen rocks we saw at Dahu. Just mind your feet, don't stand in the puddles. They will get baited on random people. Just make sure you walk out of them. Now, the most important mechanic here, if you take a look in Raid text chat, Ray was nice enough to put the image for me. Thank you. This image is going to show the 2 separate debuffs that we are assigned. Now, it might be difficult to remember immediately which one does what. So the easiest way to remember it is to just assign what it looks like, right? So if we look at the pull mechanic, right, you're going to get on the outside notch, right, on a safe notch, right? You're going to find a notch out on the outside of your ring, right? And then you're going to get sucked in. So the way you remember it is it looks like the Minotaur is eating spaghetti, right? So what happens when you eat spaghetti? Like, you know,
You just
big
made me
big slurp,
myself.
right? Big slurp, big
Oh
the big
yeah.
suck, right? Spaghetti. That's how we eat spaghetti around here. Yeah. The moan is
No,
needed because
someone else did that. Oh.
I like spaghetti. Okay, it's fine. The other one, looks like a puff of smoke. Knackle. They actually, you know what? To me, it actually looks like a guy fallen off. Looks like some shadow figure just threw him off into the bedtime dimension. Right? He's fallen off a cliff. However, it's the same thing. It's a push. You're getting pushed off a cliff. Knackle thinks. I actually don't even see it. It's a
Yo,
pink
don't
cloud.
drag my thing through the ground. Come on, this is your raid.
Yeah, it's.
How do you want to describe it?
I'm gonna describe. It looks like that one bully that knocked me off the playground when I was a kid in 4th grade. All right, it looks like I'm falling off, and the big shadowy figure, the big Minotaur, is my bully from 4th grade. Right, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a guy falling off the playground. So that's a push, right? So you want to be on the inside ring, and you're gonna get pushed by the big bully in the middle of the field. Right, you fell off ratio. There you go. Whatever helps memorize that it's a push mechanic. Right? The first time we see these debuffs, he is going to assign it with Labyrinth Fate, and then Fateful Words will immediately resolve that mechanic. So the first time we see it, the second you get that debuff, try to find a notch, get into it, and do your push-pull. Cool? All right. Everything else is going to be handled with calls. This ad phase is quite dangerous, so try to keep your wits about you. Try to keep your eyes on the prize. DPS, don't use any of your raid actions at the beginning here. Save them for the ads during the ad phase, please. If you're a tank or if you're a reflector in the middle field, your roles are going to be essentially taking up most of your time, so you can use them at the opening here. But DPS, please, if you're assigned to DPS critical role, just hold on to it for ads. The sooner we get through ads, the safer and the more people, like the less risk we have. it is a very dangerous phase. Everyone stand in front of the purple line and give me some jumps. That way I know we're ready and we're all attentive. We're here. We do not need lost actions for this fight. There is no enrage. Cool. Waiting on Bug.
Open question in say chat. I don't know if you saw that.
And say chat.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, question. As a tank in charge of traps, do I have to aggro the ad while I walk? No. So sorry. You can actually keep your stance off the entire time. The only time you're going to turn your stance off is if you notice your tank partner falls. Turn on your stance immediately, provoke the ad that was your partner's ad, and then try to make sure that you keep moving it clockwise around the field. For this whole phase during ads, tanks should be rotating clockwise. Everyone should just be moving the ads clockwise so they avoid getting auto attacked. All right, we're in front of the purple mark. We're gonna get started here. Desarius is still gonna be our main tank. They may or may not have a marker. Do not worry. Everyone take your stances off. We will turn our stances on. Our numbered tanks will turn our stances on during the ads phase. 30 on the board whenever you're ready. Spaghetti suck. Yes.
The moan is just completely what sold it.
It's good. Good spaghetti, man. Hamburger helper. 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal. All right, let's get it. Oops, pulled a little early. My bad. All right, remember, DPS, hold on to your raid buffs. Tanks and reflectors and dispellers, you can use them here. This is a tank buster. Clear out the front. Avoid the main tank. Gonna wait for an auto attack here. Pop knockback reduction now. Arm's length sure cast now. It's going to be followed by 3 whacks, 3 cones. Just walk out of them. Whacks, whacks, whacks. 1, 2, 3. Whack, whack, whack. Okay, we are getting close to 70. Get ready to go to your positions. Go to your positions now. DPS to 3. Tanks to your assigned positions. Get ready to execute your plan. Tanks, provoke your Minotaurs and start walking them around the field slowly. Dispellers, get those balls of earth. Reflectors, stand underneath the balls of fire. All right, traps are going out. Everyone get onto a numbered marker. Trap sweeps, do your sprint. Do not move until the trap sweeps have done their job. Okay, cool. Traps are clear. DPS can move out. All right, your debuff has been assigned. Get into a notch. Get into a notch. Push or pull. Get into a notch. Do that now. Nice, nice, nice. We're going to keep going around the field. We're going to get this line. Get into a notch. Any notch works. Right? And now we're going to get puddles. Provoking one of the Minotaur. Separating. I'm going to just take a hit here. All right. We're going to get a debuff again. Don't worry about it. It's not going to go off immediately. All right. Look at your debuff. It's not going to happen immediately. We're going to get puddles at our feet. Just keep your eyes open. Oh, into a notch. My bad. Wrong order. Into a notch, into a notch, into a notch. Careful at your feet. Just make sure we're DPSing these Minotaur. All right. Get into a notch. This is your push-pull. Push-pull. Suck or pull. Suck or pull. Keep rotating. Keep doing damage on the bosses. Cool. Return to the center. Be mindful of orbs if they are still available. Desarius should be the only tank. Turn your stances off now. Desarius is the only tank. This is a raid-wide. Mitigate this and heal through it. Next, we're going to get rapid bolts. We're going to take these to the wall. If you get a puddle, take it to the wall. Take that to the wall. Next, we're going to get a really big swing. This is just like that coin counter swing that was untelegraphed. Yeah, get out of this. It is huge. Just get to a wall. And back in. All right. 2 sets of rapid bolts. Take these to the wall. These are puddles. Make sure as soon as you drop them, you get away from them. Another set coming out. Here they are. Take them to the wall now. Everyone else group up in the center of the field. We're going to bait Crushing Hoof. Cool. Get away from this. This is proximity. Do not walk into a puddle. Be very mindful of where you're walking. There's going to be 3 whacks. Avoid these whacks. Whack, whack, whack. 1, 2, 3. There's 2. There's whack 3. Nice. There's going to be a tank buster. Clear the front. And immediately after this tank buster, we're going to pop our knockback immunity. We're going to wait for 1 auto attack on the boss and then pop our knockback immunity after the buster. Right? And pop it now. Three more whacks. 1, 2, 3. Whack, whack, whack. Just avoid these. We're going to get another raid wide if we see it. Nah. He's dead. All right. Let's get our dead. Do not move on ahead. Please make sure we stay in this arena. We want to make sure that every death is resolved if we can manage it. If we go ahead early and trigger the cutscene, things could potentially be very bad for us unless we get everyone up. Is there anyone that has a low timer? Is there anyone that's like 200 or less on their timer? Good work, by the way. That Minotaur situation got handled very well.
Oh yeah, I actually have a question about that.
Yeah.
So, when the things were spawning, and I got to like my little safe spot,
Yeah.
my partner was a little late on running, so I got like
Mhm.
the doom thing. Would it ever be? Do I just like pop my own invuln and sprint so I don't die, or do I just take the death?
I feel like if you were to do that, that probably would have been a very good that would have been a very good strategy to mitigate the situation you were in. I feel like that would have been a very good on hand, I got to do this to make sure I preserve myself kind of a thing. So I say next time you're in that situation, probably do exactly what you said you should have done.
Okay.
Otherwise, just be aware that if you do step out on that path, that you should expect there to be traps. Just to be on the
Are all
safe
deaths
side.
resolved? I see people running ahead. Are all deaths resolved?
All deaths are resolved. Next time, let's wait for the call to do that. 24 minutes. Let's see. That's so
Sorry about that,
a little,
Tethers.
little
I was
less
a
than
little late
14
on that.
minutes to
I
explain. So
was wondering why my invuln wasn't fucking popping. It's because I was hitting interject for some reason.
Oh, now you're good. I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? He's gonna hit me.
No, I didn't know it would have. I didn't know that he was gonna whack you with something if I wasn't that quick. My bad.
it's all
Oh, no,
right.
you're good.
Learning experience.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So I'm going to expedite the description on Queen. Almost everything on Queen can be handled through calls. The only thing I will explain is super chess. And then we'll assign the tank dude, the tank buster, and we'll go over reflect and dispel too. Was it this one? No, it's here we go. All right. So, if you were a reflect or a dispeller in the previous encounter, you should still have them slotted. Keep them slotted. If you are dispel, I'll quickly go over what dispel does, and I'll quickly go over reflect. But I want to make sure that everyone is clear on super chess. Now, super chess will happen twice during the fight. On the alpha marker, or sorry, on the alpha waypoint or the Charlie waypoint, there is going to be a glowing tile that appears. This is during the Queen's Edict cast, right? A tile will light up. That will be considered our safe tile. Now, we do it safe tile relative. That means that wherever the safe tile is located, that is going to be our new north for that mechanic, right? We're going to consider that safe tile as north, and we're going to go away from the save tile to start. So if the save tile shows up on the Charlie waypoint, we're all going to start moving towards the alpha side of the field, right? If it's alpha, we'll move to the Charlie side, right? So if the waypoint is on alpha, we'll move away from it. Now, a bunch of pawns are going to show up on the edge of the field. The east-west pawns will move first, and then the north-south pawns will move second. You need to pay very close attention to the debuffs you are assigned at the beginning of the Queen's Edict. As soon as the Queen's Edict cast has finished. This will give you 2 separate buffs. They're marked by Roman numerals and a number of dots. The Roman numerals are paired with the number of dots on those debuffs. That means that if you see a Roman numeral 4, it's also going to be 4 dots on it. What does this mean? That just means that that's the number of steps you have to take in order to resolve the Queen's Edict debuff. Because you have 2 separate buffs, you will have to walk a certain amount of tiles separately twice. This might mean you only have to move 2 steps first and then 4 steps the second time. It could be 3 steps the first time or 2 steps the second time. It all depends. But the most important thing that I need you to do is once those debuffs go out and I tell you to add them up, that is going to give you a number. It's going to give you either 5, 6, or 7, right? Based off of that number, I will place you in accordance to your number. So if I say things like 6s in the corner, 7s to the left of 6s, and then 5s in some location, like 5s to the right of 2, or 5s to the north of 6s, or something along those lines, right? If I say corner, right, corner is going to be a call out that I use specifically if it's like a both safe pattern. The way you should decipher 6s in the corner is if, let's say as an example, alpha waymark is the safe tile. It's this big glowing tile. We want to get away from it. And I'm just going to start placing people based off their numbers, right? If I say 6s in the corner, this is going to be the corner tile. It's going to be all the way in the bottom right-hand side of the arena, right? It should be a white tile. It's going to be, we're always going to try to go up the right-hand column for this mechanic. So in this case, if 7s were to the left of 6s, right, for the same example, and if I say move up the Bravo column, you're going to move to the Bravo column first, and then you will move north up the Bravo column for your steps, right? Do not run directly straight to the Bravo marker, because if you have anything less than a couple steps, if you have a couple steps or just barely more, you could potentially overrun your debuff, and you may not know exactly how many tiles you have to go back, right? You need to go a specific number of tiles. So you'll get placed. We'll wait for the pawns to do their first movement. As soon as the first cleave goes off, we will move up the column that I specify. It could be either the 1-2 column or the Bravo column, or if Charlie is the safe tile, it could be the Delta column or the 2-3, or sorry, the 3-4 column, right? Just be very aware of what calls are being made and try to follow them best you can, right? If you die, or if you get the wrong whatever and you pop a re-raise or something, or if you end up on the safe tile and you have this really ominous black and red blob above your head, it's doom. Don't worry about it. Just if you get it standing in the safe tile, stay in the safe tile, die in the safe tile. If your re-raiser procs, you'll be safe. You don't want to get your re-raiser proc outside of the safe tile, all right? That is how Super Chess is going to work. The patterns they could be potentially very different. Just be very careful where I'm assigning 5, 6, and 7 to stand. Pay attention to where the waymarks are, and where other people are standing, because my calls will be relative to all of that. That's going to be that and Second Relentless are going to be the most difficult mechanic, but Second Relentless is going to get covered by the Danger Dorito. You'll just follow the Danger Dorito for Second Relentless. All right. Reflects and Dispels. If you brought the light curtains that I told you to bring at the very beginning of the run, and you have 2 of them, this is where we're using them. This is the best place to use them. 2 times, the Queen is going to cast these lightning orbs. There's going to be a duty gauge that shows up sometime during the fight. I'll point it out. You'll hear a ding. She'll teleport off center of the field, and then a bunch of purple Levin lightning orbs will show up around the field, right? If you are within range of their very large AoE blast, you will be dead instantly. However, if you have a light curtain or reflect, and you activate it, you will reflect all the damage back to the lightning orb that struck you. And in doing so, if you kill the lightning orb this way, we will get a protective bubble that will help shield us from the upcoming raid wide. At the same time, reflectors are reflecting these lightning orbs to make the bubbles for us. Dispellers are going to need to be on the queen. The queen will have 4 brand new debuff or brand new buffs that she needs to get removed. They need to be removed. She can't have them. We're not allowed to let her have anything, right? At that point, since there's 4, just try your best if you have Dispel to do 4 casts. As soon as a bubble is available, get into a bubble and then continue your Dispel casts. We want to make absolutely certain that she doesn't have any buffs, right? The buffs are going to be blue colored, and there's one that's going to be purple with like the zigzag lightning pattern, right? As soon as all of them are gone, we're good, right? That'll happen twice. First time it'll be by itself. The second time it happens is going to be immediately after a turret mechanic. All right. So just keep your ears open, be ready to listen, and be ready to execute a light curtain or a reflect if you have it. If you do not have any reflects or any light curtains, make sure you are a good distance away from all the lightning orbs. Don't go running off to the wall. Stay close to the queen, but just don't be near any of the lightning orbs. Be as far away, equidistant from as many of them as you can, right? And stay as close to the queen as you can without, wait until a bubble appears, and then you can jump into a bubble with everyone else for safety. All right. Can I get 3 tank volunteers to stand up here with the triangle marker with the danger Dorito?
Any tank or pure invuln?
Sorry, pure tank. Thank you. I as you spoke up, I remembered it. I need pure invuln. That means Bolide or hallowed ground. Mega, you showed up first. This is just to disrespect tank busters. Do we have one more pure invuln that's willing to step up and try it out?
Heck with it.
There we go. Right, and you are Gunbreaker. Cool. You will be 3. All this means that Mega Solomon is going to start tanking for this encounter. And then after the first tank buster, there will be 2 cleaves. 1, 2. Mega Solomon will turn their stance off. And then Iwaijo, I believe is how that's pronounced. Iwaijo, you will be second. You will provoke off of Solomon. And then afterwards, you will take the second set of busters. You will invuln specifically the cleansing / tank buster. There'll be 2 hits, 1, 2. You'll turn your stance off, and then Zanase will turn their stance on, and then make sure to provoke off of you after the second slash. Cool? Cool. All right, we're coming down to the wire here, so we're just gonna have everyone get in front of the purple line, and we're gonna get started here. Everyone should still have Lost Shell. If you have less than 10 minutes, stand behind the purple line and get it refreshed. If you have more than 10 minutes, you're A-okay. I will call out when light curtain will be used. Double check you have food up. If you have 10 minutes or more of food, you're fine. Let's try to squeeze this fight in before it's too late.
13 minutes. We got plenty of time.
We got plenty of time. But I
think it actually
get
adds
anxious.
10 minutes at the end. I think that's what happened yesterday.
If it's less than 10 minutes, yes, it will add 10 minutes to it. Yeah. All right. Once everyone is in front of the purple line, we'll get started. Cool, cool. Oh, double check that you have Aether Shield. You should have 10 charges. If you have 8 or more, you're good. If I say reslot Aether Shield, that means you're going to use Aether Shield. I will call for a reslot. You'll go into your holster, put a new one in, and use it again. That'll be for Soft and Rage. Just listen for the call if we make it that far. All right? All right, cool. For mechanics, try to follow the danger Dorito when I call for it. Otherwise, you're going to listen to any specific calls, and we're just gonna roll with the punches. All right. Win or lose, I'm glad you guys decided to come and join my run. And Solomon, on your mark, you can put 30 on the board. All right, deep breath. All right, let's get it. You can stack with the party. There's no positionals. All right, Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2, Heavy Mitt. Right, first real mechanic is Murder Chess. Chess pieces are going to spawn on the outside of the field and move in. There will be 2 sets of them. Just follow the triangle marker. I will do my best to have the safe spot. Looking at the pieces. All right, all right, all right. Northwind Glow is going to push us in a direction. We're going to go south. Okay, do not be on that back row. Right here is safe. Right here. The center column is safe. Just make sure you're right here on the back half of the black tile. And we can stay in the center column. We are safe in the center column. Hard mechanic down. Tank busters are incoming. Solomon, get ready. Invuln this. Wait for 2 slashes before provoking. 1. That's 2. Provoke now. Stance off, Solomon, please. Thank you. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2. Aether Shield, Stone Skin 2. Iwaijo, are you alright? Your HP went down to 1. This is Super Chess. It's alright, we'll sort it out later. You're going to get 2 buffs. Add them up. Add your buffs now. Wall is safe. Back is safe. 6s in the corner. 7s to the left of 6s. 5s are going to be on... 5s are going to be all the way up south of Charlie. Get to your positions now. I'm going to walk up the delta column. Wait for it. Walk out the number of dots. Be very careful. Be mindful of your dots. Only walk that amount of steps. Go to the delta column first, and then walk up. End in the safe tile. Make sure you end in the safe tile. Even if you get the blob above your head, make sure you are dying in this tile. Just die in this tile. That's all right. I called 5s very late.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
It was the hard one. Yeah, that was the cursed pattern. All right, let's get back to it. This is going to be God Save the Queen. This is just like Empyrean Iniquity, but it hits harder. So we want to mitt this super hard. Aether Shield, Stone Skin, Reprisals, any other mitt you can do for your party. Mitigate this one as best you can. This one hits hard. Nice. Okay, lightning orbs are coming up. You should see your duty gauge just showed up. The sovereignty bar is filling up. When it hits 100, you're going to hear a ding. There's going to be lightning orbs. When you hear the ding, light curtains and reflect. There it is. Light curtains reflect now. Light curtains reflect these lightning orbs. If you do not have reflect, get away. Dispellers, get on the queen. Make sure we are dispelling the queen. Queen has been successfully dispelled. There are no buffs on the queen. Get into a bubble, get into a bubble, get into a bubble, get into a bubble, get into a bubble. Nice. First, Relentless Mechanic. Everyone group up in the center. This is going to be Swirly Wind with Sparkly Gravity. You're going to get a tether. If you get a tether, you're going to go to Swirly Wind. If you don't get a tether, you're going to go to Sparkly Purple Gravity, and then you're going to point your Mustadio to the 4 marker. Right? Northwind Glow is going to push us in a direction. We are all going towards Delta. If you get a tether, you're going to Wind. Tethers to Wind, no tethers to Purple. And then point your hole to the 4 marker. Point hole to 4 now. Now to a turret on the wall. Turret on the wall. That's right. If you die in re-raise, pop a re-raiser. This is Tank Busters. Cleansing Slash. Wait for 2.
Yes. They don't. It's not yet.
All right. Tank 3, please provoke.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for the cover. Everyone group up in the middle here. This is second Relentless. This mechanic could potentially be extremely dangerous. If I don't make any specific call for a marker, please follow the Danger Dorito. This has a potential to be very, very difficult. This is a full downtime mechanic, so hold on to everything. All right,
He's
we're gonna
fine.
get knocked in between Charlie and 3. Charlie and 3. All right, Alpha Bravo are the safe clones. One more dash. To the 1 marker. Right here. Super nice pattern today. Nice. All right. Raid wide coming up soon. Aether Shield Stone Skin 2. Aether Shield Stone Skin 2. Heavy Mythos. Just be safe. And hold on to your 2 minutes. This is going to be a full downtime mechanic next. This is second Super Chess. Right? Remember, you're going to get 2 debuffs. Add them up. You're going to listen to where I place you. Safe tile is at alpha. We're going away from alpha. Back is safe. Wall is not safe. 5s are going to be on the black tile south of 2. 6s on Charlie. 7s to the left of Charlie. 5s to the right of Charlie. 6s on Charlie. 7s to the left of Charlie. We're going to go up the 1-2 column. Do not go up the Bravo column. We're going to walk to the 1-2 column and then move up it. Do not be on the Bravo column. Walk out your dots. If you get the blob, go back. Right? End in the safe tile. Make sure that you are in the safe tile. If you have the blob, don't worry. Just write it out. Die in the safe tile. Healers, wait for heal LB3 to charge. Wait for your LB3 to charge. As soon as we have control, get to the center of the field and LB when you have it. Healer LB
Advise
when you've got it. There's a
Delta
tank
healers are
buster.
done.
Tank buster going out. This is /1/2, and you can keep the boss. No swaps necessary. Everyone group up on the Danger Dorito. We're going
Lost
to bait.
aggro died.
That's all right. I have it. I have the boss. I have the boss. Leave her to me. Everyone stand on the Danger Dorito. Face the queen. Make sure we're all facing the same direction. We want to bait the knight behind us. Okay, it's going to be a sword pattern. We're going to get away from the knight on the safe quadrant. Safe quadrant is to the east. Towards the 4 marker, get far away. Just go to the wall. Avoid these turrets. These are normal turrets. Immediately after this is going to be lightnings. So reflect and dispel. Wait for it. Reflect now. Do your reflect now. Reflect an orb. Dispel the queen. Reflect a lightning orb. Dispel the queen. Queen is dispelled. Get into a bubble when you have the opportunity. Nice. All right, there's going to be a raid wide immediately after this. Get ready. Aether Shield, Stone Skin, group up for this. Aether Shield, Stone Skin, Mitt, Heavy Mitt. Nice. Easy clap. Like clockwork. All right. Hold on. Do we have any dead? Hold on.
I don't see any dead.
I don't see any
Oh,
dead. We can
bro.
actually get a good picture.
That's clean.
I survived
Okay.
the normal turrets this time.
If you open the chest, make sure you have 4 slots in your inventory. I have always suffered from having a full inventory and never getting everything in it. Make sure you have 4 slots.
We have a 100% win rate with Deceros main tank. We're looking good.
So far, yeah.
That was fun.
16 first timers by my count, including me.
I enjoyed being y'all's meme tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
That was fun.
Once you guys are all finished with that cutscene, feel free to meet us up by the tree for our picture.
Don't forget to sit to reset your animation. As much as we love seeing combat in G-Pose, it's easier not to.
Oh, I did that. All right. I'm going to chill here for like a minute or two so everyone can get their G-pose and their screenshots. And then afterwards, we're going to do our dog walk. So, for those of you who are first time clears, your mount is actually tied to the achievement. So, now that you have that achievement, go into your achievement log, track it down, and then claim that whistle. Once we get out, head to the Dome and Enclave on Genova, and we'll do our dog walk ceremony. Getting the shout ready.
Gotta do the shameless plug.
I know. Were you still in instance when you did it though?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Hey guys, did you hear about this really cool Discord? It's called Lego Steppers. It runs DRS a lot.
How
You
do I
have a link
join?
to this Discord so I can join.
How do I join? I don't know how to join.
No.
Wowzers. What? Oh, that was my FC. I was like, why do I hear boss music? It's like, that's very fitting for seeing a bunch of Cerberus at a at an Aetherite. Yeah, you are by no means required to go on the dog walk. If this is like, cutting it close for your schedule or your time, I understand. Everyone else who is brand new and wants to join us for the ceremony, if you're brand new, just sit around by the Aetherite on your doggo. And everyone else who has already cleared, you know where to go. You go to the place. Victory Lap is the name of the channel that gets the pictures posted to it. It's going to be on Genova server. It's on the Genova world, I should say. You're going to go to the Dome and Enclave. And once you reach the Dome and Enclave, you're going to sit there by the Aetherite. We're going to wait for all the new players to get on their Cerberus and to just hang out by the Aetherite. If you've already cleared, you know where to go. Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, my work schedule got completely turned upside down, so the Saturday run can't happen. To make up for that, there's just going to be a run tomorrow instead. I have to push it forward a day. And instead of it being 5:30, it will be at 3:30, same time as today. Back to back to back. I'm used to it, man. This is how I used to do it.
Wish I could be there, but Friday I'm busy.
Oh wait, that's right. Never mind, Knuckle. You have an attrition run on Friday.
Well, I mean, not everyone wants to do attrition.
Oh, true. But it
I'm not gonna tell you to change your schedule. So
No. Because I want to go. I want to go. Oh, but it's wait, no, but it's Friday. Oh, wait, it'll work. Oh, I can do it. Yes. Okay, so sad face.
If you can do your run in an hour and a half, then you can make it.
No, that would be like, J subs level reclear planning, like, just get in, get out 1 hour adventure. I can't do that. I'm not that organized. At least not yet. All right. Are we still waiting on people to make it to the Dome and Enclave? I figure there might be like like world transfer queues and let us know in Alliance chat if you're still on the way. On the way. All right. My playlist didn't loop. How long have I been without music? Ah! My brain! It's like, why am I thinking?
You played music over the Queen Awakens?
Oh, yeah, thanks for coming along, Seth. All right. We still waiting on anyone to get to the Aetherite? Anyone still on the way? All right. It doesn't look like we're waiting on anyone else. So, for all the new people with their brand new shiny three-headed dogs, what you're going to do is you're going to open up your map. There's going to be this big square space like spot in the top left-hand side of the map. You're going to turn on your RP walk. You're going to walk single file this way. And once you reach well, the ceremony, I will read off your names and congratulate you individually. There they are.
Yep.
In the distance.
Debated, just me.
Is it just what?
No, there are more people coming. I'm just coming to congratulate
Okay. Okay. I was like, whoa. I was told 16.
Only one clear. We've held this for like a one-person clear before.
Oh, absolutely. I would do the same.
Yep.
And if you're not a first timer, then you just well, why don't you come along? You're first timer to me. How about that? Usually we have all the first timers come up here early and we line up for everyone. All right. Arista, congratulations on clearing DRS. Rizzo, congratulations. Sol Lunaris, congratulations. Chris Turkleton, thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for coming along. Sasori, please. Meravi Veneraya, Callian. Oh man, these names are more difficult than Bug Selbear. Selbear, yeah. Kalia Rosette. Casey Izumi. Zanase Kuwaito.
I can't pronounce it either.
Kenki Vessel. Why do you name yourself that then?
Because it was the name generator and I was a male Makote when I started.
Oh man. All right. Congratulations on everyone on your first time clear. Dog pile in the middle. Oh man, I love this.
Ihuai Jojizu also congratulations.
This is how puppies are
I'm a
made.
slippery little fish. Waijo did get past me. I remember them from my bad. Waijo Zutsu, congratulations. Thanks for coming along and congratulations on your doggo. It is indeed a 4-seater mount, by the way, if you haven't heard the secrets. It's a 4-seater. Yeah. So the mention I made earlier about me having a run tomorrow, I lied. I'm not gonna have a run tomorrow. There's gonna be an attrition run tomorrow, and even if you're afraid of the attrition run, you should totally come along. They're like mega fun. I promise. They're very rare. This is like a Nako Black Mage main tank kind of thing. Rare. Like you should come along.
It's not just an attrition run. It's a chaos job. Any prog.
Oh yeah, you get to pick whatever class you want.
Yeah.
You get to be like if it's a party of all tanks, man, we're soaring with that. If it's all healers, we roll with it. On top of that, if you hit the tomorrow. Yeah.
Can I profane white mage duel?
If you
make it work with your
Rules do?
party. Make it work with your party.
Tomorrow.
But the best part is if you hit the deck and your re-raiser doesn't proc. See ya,
Goodbye.
you're out of there. Goodbye. You get to sit from the sidelines and watch everyone else go further beyond. Now, I made that sound really bad. But what I mean is, join us on stream or just chill. Chill in the. Somebody will put it up in Discord or whatever. Nakla and I will be streaming, and cheer us on. See how far we can go with no raises.
Yeah, I'm the host, and if I die, then they lose the host.
Yes.
That's how strict I'm gonna be with it. I'm gonna follow my own direction there. So if I
Unexpected host prog.
better pray that I don't fuck up TA swords or get murked by a minotaur.
Or get murked by your party members. Which
maybe.
party will you be in, Knuckle?
Yeah.
I'll come
I
as
don't know.
a healer.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see.
I want the Miori Chaos Party.
But yeah,
fun.
I'm good. Turn it back over to Vash and close it out. I don't want to hog up too much time, but yeah.
Oh
That's
no
happening tomorrow.
that's fantastic. Now I was finished with all my plugs. It's all happy fun time now for me.
The real question: has an attrition run ever killed Queen yet, or is
Yeah.
there still a chance for first?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The first
Oh.
attrition run I had was more like a reclear. It went so smooth.
Yeah, everyone there was like,
It's like everyone already knew the mechanics, right? So people just showed up, do the thing, and I was like, oh, this is
just
a
a
little
normal
lit.
run.
But this just turned into a normal. I think we lost like 2 people at TA. That was about it.
Yeah, I think so. That was fun. I liked
Yeah.
it.
You know what I'm waiting for is the Miori PvP run.
I'm ready.
He's
I'm
not
ready.
even focused on clearing. It's just I just
have
wonder what he has in store.
so many chaotic ideas flowing through my head. It's crazy.
I ask for the memes. On a true PvP run, would impetus be explicitly allowed?
I will say, if I host a chaos run, I will allow everything and anything. And I will not check anything.
Yep.
You
It's
could
up- it's
you
up
could
to-
come essenceless if you want. I don't care.
I'm not that evil.
I am.
Oh,
He's like I am.
you have not gotten used to Miori strats.
Ooh.
It's time.
All right, y'all. Thank you, and I'm gonna dip out here. So.
Thanks
Yeah,
for the
thanks
run,
for coming
Vash.
along.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
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 All right, folks. For anybody that's still tuned in, I thank you for joining me. We're going to call it a night there. I'm just logging back in to get back on my home server. But thank you for joining me. Hope you had a good time, and I will catch you next time.